D, we are here with Interview with Man, episode 936. Did Andrew Wilson expose Coach Greg Adams? That's exactly what we want to see in today's episode. I have not watched this debate, but a lot of guys told me months ago when they did this to come and give a full breakdown. Andrew Wilson recently totally dismantled Richard Cooper, exposing him for, quite frankly, looking like pretty bad of a grifter. In this episode, I don't know how it's going to end up going by, but I will tell you, in my perspective, from what I've looked at from an analysis point of Andrew Wilson versus Coach Greg Adams. Coach Greg Adams does seem a little bit traumatized and or hurt by women. And all I know is Greg Adams has publicly endorsed paying for access to women, which is a terrible thing to tell the average guy, especially a young guy. That's the best way to go about living life. That is not the best way about going about living your life. So we're going to jump into it. This is going to be a very long live stream. So get your snacks ready. I've got my pistachios. As you see, I've eaten through this entire bag in the month of May. We're almost at the tail end here. I'll be joining you guys, snacking, having a good time, cozy stream as I break down their debate. And I let you know who I think is right, who I think is wrong, and all of those things and so much more. So lock in and let's get started right now.
Connection established.
Make money, make muscles, learn game, hold frame. It starts with learning dating, and then you move on to something else to push humanity forward. That is the philosophy of modern life dating.
I am teaching you how to be strong. I am teaching you how to be powerful. So when bad things happen to you, you don't quit.
Okay, because you don't know how.
Because you don't know.
No, if I'm not going to explain to myself.
In normal conversation where people aren't sitting around and patronizing you because you're loud and obnoxious, and a lot of people don't want to confront you and tell you that. But I'll tell you that right now, young lady. You're very loud and obnoxious and you're rude.
You wanted to blow it up and make me seem like something I'm not, and I didn't appreciate that. But that's okay.
Did
you
you
can
watch my
do
channel?
what you want to do for your content.
Oh boy, somebody's triggered.
And
She's
you can do
triggered.
that. No, Adam sent me a clip.
You should want a woman that you can build with.
She could build me a sandwich.
But my man,
It's common sense in every other country in the god world, but here you gotta get out of god Venn diagram and be like, hey, don't post half-naked photos of yourself because you're gonna attract fucking predators.
And we're back. What's up, everybody? I'm back in the house. Andrew Wilson, does he expose Coach Greg Adams in this 2-hour-long debate? We don't have any time for chit-chat. We're jumping right into it. Ahora mismo. Right now. Let's go.
If you get married, you may get a divorce. If this happens, then this may happen.
We already looked at the statistics of it likely happening.
Yeah,
so if you want to go, in order for your marriage to work, they have to be white, Christian, make money, and then also we live in a certain region.
The black community, you have more divorces than the white community. There's going to be contributing factors for why that is. I don't think that black people are just ontologically different than white people. For the black community, there's a bunch. One, you have a distinction in economic certitude. The second one is you had a massive abortion rate. Another one is you use matriarchal structures in the family home instead of patriarchal. So you have multiple factors here which need to be addressed. I agree with that. Nobody ever disagreed with that, though.
Okay, guys, finally getting started. Thanks for being patient. I know there was some delays. We got Andrew here versus Coach Greg Adams, aka the Free Agent Lifestyle. We're going to talk about today, is marriage worth it for men in the West? So let's get into some opening statements. Who wants to start off?
Yeah, man, marriage is a great institution. It was an institution that built the community of America. Most of the better communities that have safety, good children, good schools are typically centered around marriage. However, marriage has not progressed to the point where men could be safe legally. And a lot of men have experienced tremendous damage, collateral damage as a result. And it has led to broken families, a lot of broken hearts, simply because the laws are not positioned to benefit both people in a divorce. Therefore, you have no fault divorce. You have opportunities for women to use the courts against men. And as a result, men have seen 1, 2, and 3 generations of men getting harmed, their grandfathers, their fathers, their uncles, their brothers getting harmed by this. So Generation Z men are not positioning themselves for a positive marriage. So at this particular point, if someone asked me, would I recommend marriage for them, and they were in a certain position in life, they weren't established, I would say no. There's no benefit for a person to get married today.
Got it. Your response, Andrew?
Yeah, I didn't hear any anti-marriage arguments. I heard anti-divorce arguments. So I'm with you on divorce, 100%.
Stream over.
And we're, I guess,
I agree.
But it's a good thing that the topic isn't on divorce, it's on marriage. And it seems like you agree with my proposition then. And the proposition is that marriage, quote, is a great institution.
Yep.
And that right now your concern is that men can't be safe in marriage, but that's not actually what you're saying. You're not saying.
For the record, I do support men getting married, but I do not support the state and what they do in the United States of America and all these crazy other countries where they enforce all this psychotic, draconian, slave-like, doctrine on men based off of some crap written like 50, 60, 70 years ago when they wrote all these laws. Ultimately, I'll tell you, I think it's good that a guy does not be like an infinite player. Like, it's best, honestly, if you can truly find a woman that loves you for you and get into the relationship with a woman who has true burning desire for you, you'll understand what I'm talking about when it comes to relationships. Greg Adams has never had that. He's bitter, and him and Rich Cooper are very similar. They're both bitter old men who had a history of women finessing them their whole lives, and that's why they're so bitter, and that's why their message is so bitter. You guys ever see me? I'm never bitter towards women. I fucking love women, and the reason is because I've had a lot of good experiences with women because I know how to find women that genuinely like me for me. And is every woman going to like me? No. In fact, the majority of women will not like me, right? That's just the normal of life. However, as long as you don't lead with money, don't lead with your wallet, don't lead with anything else other than who you are as a man, the probability of you ending in a divorce and stuff like that is very, very low. But if you're a fool, like the average guy is in America, you're leading with money, you're leading with clout, you're just trying to be something you're not. Well, then, you're going to run into problems because eventually that girl's real desire for the man that she wants is going to surface. And when it's not you, you're going to be left holding the bag as she goes off and gets with a new guy. So the problem here isn't women. The problem is men choosing the wrong women. That's the real thing here. Men don't have game. Men don't have social intelligence. And they're so thirsty and starving for any kind of female attention that they'll pretty much put their dick in anything. And then the girl will then control them and manipulate them because the guy just doesn't want to lose access to sex. And then next thing you know, she divorces you and you're left paying for her and her new pool boy boyfriend while, they're laughing in your old house. So It all comes back to men. You can sit here and cry and point the finger at women all the time, but men have the biggest part in all this.
And can't be safe in marriage. They can. You're saying that they may not be safe in divorce. So I have a counter proposition for you. My counter proposition is, what if it's the case that you can use religious marriage institutions without the state? And then we add the ecclesiastical structure of the marriage. That's what always kept them together anyway, before the state was ever involved. So what if instead we use the ecclesiastical church, the structure of the old churches? So that would be Catholicism and Orthodoxy, where you see the lowest divorce rates, because the community puts pressure on the women to act right. That's what they do. Right now, the state applies no pressure on women to act right, right? You can just go and file whatever you want, get a divorce, and go be banging the neighbor by the next night. We totally agree on that. But to say that we should abandon marriage is silly. It seems like you're completely pro-marriage. You're just anti-divorce. So why wouldn't you just throw your weight behind institutions where the divorce rate is the least, and you have an ecclesiastical structure which can be appealed to assist with that? That's what makes no sense to me.
My response to that is, if we're fifths, we beat all drunk. All right. So that's a scenario that just isn't present.
Can you explain the analogy for me?
Well,
why does he have to use these like little, like, you know, televangelist quips? If ifs were fifths, we will all be drunk. I don't know. Is he like attempting to be cute? I don't get it.
Oh, if we use if, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. If we say if we have a situation where this is present, then this would work. Well, that makes sense. If we had that,
we do have it right now.
Well, it doesn't necessarily work because, and I'm going to tell you why, because a woman can go to a divorce attorney and they can simply just say, hey, listen, it was a off the cuff, off the state divorce, but you got married within a certain state, or she filed in a certain state, so therefore the divorce goes on. No. Absolutely, yes. Listen, I've been with the divorce attorneys, and what they'll tell you is, hey, listen, you can get married in the ritual, you can get married in the orthodoxy, you can get married off record, but if she files and that woman is hell-bent on saying, we got married, I don't care if it was a ceremony where we walked on coals with our feet bare, that's considered a marriage. You also have common law. You have a lot of other ways for that woman to establish marriage.
How does your way eliminate common law?
I don't have any way to eliminate common law. So what I have is a way for men to avoid.
Well, then the
being
argument's
used.
silly.
No, the argument's not silly. So here's what you have. You have a if proposition, which doesn't exist for most men. Most men aren't religious. Most men aren't looking to be under a religious orthodoxy. So it doesn't apply. So you're taking a moral standard or a religious standard to apply to people who aren't under that veil.
So let's start with a couple of things you said, which are fundamentally untrue. Most men are religious, in fact, including in this country. Most of them, not some of them,
but they're not religious.
Hang on. I didn't interrupt.
I understand, but maybe just take that point. Most aren't under your religion.
Okay.
You can agree with that.
So here's the thing, though. But Catholicism and Orthodoxy is growing rapidly. And if it's the case that the ecclesiastical structure is already there, which it is, right? If you're going to cohabitate with a woman, the thing that you're offering right now is common law marriage anyway, if there's cohabitation at all. You're not protecting anybody from that. At least under my model, it gives an ecclesiastical structure that's designed to prevent divorce by applying community pressure. That was the way it was always done. Apply the application of community pressure within the confines of the woman's social circle. Right now, do you agree with me, for instance, that many divorces happen because women like to yap? So you get a freshly divorced woman, and she's free. You go, girl. Girl power. And she starts talking to her little friends. And she starts telling them how liberating it is and how great it is and this and that. And this is why when women have divorced friends, their likelihood of divorce actually rapidly increases. Yep. It's for this reason. Divorce is contagious. So if it's the case that the social contagion is eliminated because now we have an ecclesiastical structure, an ecclesiastical authority, which won't grant it because you get ostracized from that social group through excommunication, for instance, or not being able to participate anymore with that community, that's an application of a serious and significant social pressure, which can do the very thing you want. Bring back that great institution, absent the state, and it avoids this whole problem of common law marriage. Because if it's the case that you can be common law married anyway inside of a state, and they can get grounds for divorce on that anyway, then we actually need to have some social pressures to prevent them from doing that. So it sounds like we agree marriage is awesome for men. Divorce is terrible for them. So it seems like we should be attacking the divorce structure here, and it doesn't seem like you actually have anything to do that other than just avoid the thing that's great for you, because this other bad side effect could happen.
Sure. That's
so
like
why don't we
cigarettes?
So why don't we attack the bad side effect when we have the mechanism to do it? It's not if, we can do it now.
Okay,
right
so like smoking cigarettes is the same analogy you're saying. Okay, here's great on paper, but we can't travel to the land of make-believe. It sounds great. The majority of people probably wouldn't do it. And if you ask a guy, which this is an important part, they're not even prepared to even talk about that. They don't even know what divorce laws are. So you're asking them to travel to the land of make-believe under a marriage system that small percentage of people use. No one uses it today. You might have said they used it to the past. Today, that doesn't exist. So we can't travel to the land of make-believe to make marriage work for you. It might work in your marriage, but it doesn't work for the greater structure.
Your argument here contradicts itself because on the one hand, you say men don't know enough about marriage, but my assumption is that your mission is to let men know about marriage.
Absolutely.
Okay, well then I don't understand how it's the land of make-believe if you can let them know about this, but I can't.
Sure.
Right. So
you can offer that.
So if I am, it sounds like I'm offering a real alternative to what you're offering. And here's what you're offering. Men, marriage is great. It's a great institution. It's the best for children. These are your words. In marriage, right? Men seem to thrive. Their health seems to thrive. Everything seems to thrive. You're saying, well, the problem is that divorce rates are high, and they are. However, there's a few things there that you haven't covered. One, it depends on demographic too. For instance, if you're black, it's going to be way worse than if you're white.
Correct.
Okay, way worse. And also, socioeconomics matters, right? Demographics in general matter.
And socioeconomics and IQ is correlated, and that's also correlated with divorce rate. The dumber they are, the poorer they are, and the dumber you are, the poorer you are, the more likely you are to get a divorce. Intelligent people, high IQ people, have some of the lowest divorce rates on the planet. If you look at Japan, Fukui Prefecture is the prefecture with the most amount of intelligent Japanese people, highest IQ, and it also has the lowest divorce rate, for an example.
So you can do a lot, actually, including prenuptial agreements. You can have a prenuptial agreement with the ecclesiastical authority without the state even involved. And it seems like that would mitigate your risk to damn near nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You said if about 50 times.
So did
today.
you.
Now, here's what I'm telling you. I'm telling you when, all right, we're already in this system. You're going outside of the system to create a scenario for me to argue.
What system are you going outside of?
Shout out to.
Yeah, Andrew just gave him a total, solution right there. And then Greg is just jumping out of it. I'm not listening to this shit. And neither are you, okay? We're not watching this crap. I don't care about this fat woman clothing line. Quince, fuck it. Don't buy it. Don't go to Quince and don't shop there, okay? Go to Ross. Ross, you can get express jeans for $20. Ask me how I know. I did it the other day.
Talking about marriage is typically done with the state. Almost everyone does it this way. So now you're not. Hold on for a second. You've moved the goalposts. You've moved the goalposts to a scenario of if. And you're arguing from the if. Hold on for a second. You're arguing from the if perspective.
It is perspective.
No, listen.
It is.
Give me a chance to listen.
All right,
give me a chance.
Go ahead.
You're arguing from a very small percentage point. Now you're saying demographics, and we can talk about that, but you're still trying to get me to argue in your cloud of if. That's the land of make believe. Most people, by far, are married to the state. Not only that, your land of make believe still exists. The prenup with the ecclesiastics. You can write whatever you want in that prenup. It only matters in the divorce. That's the reality. So I'm still dealing in reality. You're in the clouds. Hold on for a second. You're in the clouds. So let's take the demographics.
Okay.
In your scenario.
So Coach Greg Adams is already starting to insult him and say you're in the clouds, which shows me, because Coach Greg Adams has a lot of inner game problems, because if he had healthy inner game, he wouldn't have such a negative outlook on women and be endorsing prostitution for young men, telling guys just go pay for pussy. Healthy men don't say that, because healthy men realize they have value internally and intrinsically within themselves, that they don't need to give money or give favors or anything to women to get sex. So, I mean, that alone just shows you kind of where he's already rocked in this conversation 12 minutes in.
It sounds like, which would be fair, your primary concern is with white people.
No.
Hold on for a second. You said with black people, the demographics, the chance is higher.
Yeah.
So have you discovered the ecclesiastics approach to black people married within this?
Yes.
However, their demographics, economics, which all do affect marriage, has nothing to do in the land of the clouds or the make-believe with ecclesiastics. It's all going to boil down to in the law. And there's no church reverend that's going to go into your household to make sure there's social pressure on your wife. Do you know any?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you know any that can cover all marriages? That answer is no.
Yes. And by the way, when you keep,
Are we in reality here?
I'm trying.
The clouds. I mean, we're not arguing anything. This is in the land of make believe.
Well, when I'm allowed to respond, let
give me a second. Let me finish this point.
Go ahead.
You're imagining. Your imagination is great. John Lennon would be great. You would.
Again, what's up with all the fact that he's insulting him already just shows you kind of where this head is. He's clearly already losing composure.
Be proud of you at this particular point.
But I'm imagining all the people.
You're imagining all the people under a situation and a structure that you brought in here. All right. But the state highly governs this, and the state highly governs divorce. I'm dealing in the reality situation where I'm trying to counsel men to give information to. The best thing you've told me is that you're willing to give men the option to do this. Are they willing to all do this option? The answer is probably not, just like they're not willing to do what I'm telling them to do. However, we're both attempting, which is a good thing. It's noble. However, your situation rarely exists. can we talk about the reality of what exists?
Sure.
Absolutely. So let's take your moral religious crusade out of it and talk about the reality.
Yeah,
Are you willing to do that?
Yeah, well, here's the thing.
See, you're not willing to do that because it's all based on your reality.
Guess what? It's a debate, and I will argue my points from my view, how I see fit. It's not for you to.
But what I'm not going to do is expect
not
me
my
arguing from the land of make believe.
Yeah, but
okay. All right. So anybody have
my turn?
Anybody have the anybody have the sound effect for the television show where the train comes through, Mr. Rogers?
Let me know
because I want to be on. I want to be on Earth.
Yeah. Let me know.
All right.
Let's let Andrew respond.
Yeah. So the thing is it's funny that you bring up "Imagine All the People" of John Lennon, which is an anti-religious song, and hilariously enough, was designed to assist with female empowerment. Isn't that hilarious? But the thing here is, you keep on saying that what I'm offering is make believe, but it's not. It's been governing the Orthodox and Catholic Church for 2,000 years, including in this country. Now, here, let me give you an example, for instance, the Amish, right? Do you know what the divorce rate is among them? It's almost non-existent, yet they're still governed by the same laws of the land that you're speaking to. So it sounds like if I give a counter, if I say, look, I can give you a way, a methodology, in which you can utilize the religious ecclesiastical institution which has existed for 2,000 years and has right now the lowest divorce rates, right this second as we speak, not in make-believe land, not hundreds of years in the future, right this second, as opposed to the system you have of common law divorce, which is sky high and you can't do anything about it. That's what is true. So pointing out what is true is right now you can have a prenup. That is true. What is true is prenups are usually held up in court. That is true. Yeah. What is true is that you can have a marriage outside of a state because it's a religious institution anyway. You never have to have a license with the state. It's never been necessary. And if you do, the only way that that can be done is if it's sacramental. And if it's sacramental, it's governed now by the church. That's going to be the community the women are a part of. And so the thing is like, that sounds like a real viable solution. What's yours? More fucking degeneracy? Go out and play the field, hump a lot of chicks? How's that going to help anybody do anything? That's been the progressive mantra for 100 years. Isn't it wonderful?
Yeah, because what Andrew is saying is spot on. Greg doesn't have a solution. Greg is the guy that says, just throw your hands up, enjoy the decline, everything's cooked, everything's fucked up, it's never going to work, it's never going to be a good time. And is that the kind of, life motto you want to live? Like, I've seen this guy too in his because he just started traveling. I've been doing the passport bro thing since I was 26 years old. I am the original passport bro. He was getting finessed while he was, high school basketball teacher for the chicks, right? So, this is a very bitter man. And the fact that he's losing composure and attacking like this is
Shut up and take my money.
It's pretty crazy. Aussie World, $2 super chat. Rolo gave you props last Sunday. Thoughts? Fuck him. He talked shit about me behind my back, and he thought that it wouldn't get to me. And now he's publicly kissing my ass and publicly, putting on a show because he knows he's afraid of me and he doesn't want me to come after him. But lo and behold, I really don't care. I really just care about helping men, working hands-on with men. Like the 11 guys that came to the Mega Mansion this last weekend, those guys' lives are permanently changed. And they had such hands-on experience. We pulled 3 chicks, banged all. And you go to these other trips, and these guys have these pickup excursions. Like, yeah, this guy paid $20,000 and he got a number close. Great. All right. But anyways, this enjoy the decline, doom and gloom is also a marketing strategy, right? And honestly speaking, do you really want to trust a guy that can't get a woman organically and he has to pay for her? That's going to be your life coach. Your life coach is a guy that consistently and is solely dependent on prostitution to pull women. That's who you want to look up to? I'm not going to listen to somebody like that.
Your turn. All right, we're turning back to Earth. Now, first things first, when it comes to this, back in reality, there's no God in marriage. So, Mr. Sky Daddy, God, religion, that's all great, but there's no God in marriage. At this particular point, when you go through
you can't just discount God for everybody to make your point clear. Like, you just can't be like, well, God doesn't exist, and so let me fucking build on it from here. The number one thing that keeps a relationship together, couples who pray together daily have the absolute lowest divorce rate. So I don't want to hear this anti-God stuff. He's, like I said, people who hate God, people who hate marriage, people who are just filled with hate, like, what's going on in their soul? And like, no wonder no woman wants to be with this guy. He's like just a bitter little manlet.
a marriage. If one person decides to not obey the Holy Bible or whatever you're thumping, you have no basis to keep that marriage together. If she decides to leave the church and decides not to listen or excommunicate herself, she's now under the state.
Agree.
Now, when you're getting divorced, which I'm assuming you've been divorced.
Well, I mean, that's a hell of an assumption to make.
Have you been divorced?
I mean,
have you been married?
Can you tell me, if you can tell me how that has any merit?
Give me a second, because if you've been through one, you would know that there's no God in the divorce court, in the family court. There's no God in there. No one asked.
There is the state in there.
There is the state.
He is just a bitter old man. This guy is super bitter. This is why I don't watch his content. He's so mad. You know, I remember when I was 5'4", it was tough, but it wasn't like tough to make me, you know, a bitter little manlet like this.
So that's what we're arguing for.
Yeah,
that's when you get married. So you're telling me if, and I'm telling you, well, this is what's going to happen. Even if you took Sky Daddy into court with you, they would say, you pray to the judge. The judge is the authority of the court. So the God argument is a nice, interesting argument. And I probably am not going to say on a conversation very long, because that's your God. That's your Sky Daddy. That's your religion. I have a different religion. So who gives you who gives you the authority to change the understanding, the conversation to your religion? That's your religion.
I'm not changing the conversation.
Okay, so it only works if it only works if you believe in your Sky Daddy. That's the only way it works, and that's the only way you're going to advise men.
We're talking about mitigating risk.
No. We're talking about, can men get into a marriage today only under your Sky Daddy? That's what we're assuming.
Okay.
Now, can they do it otherwise?
Yeah, you can have secular marriage.
Okay, go ahead and explain.
Okay, yeah,
make it work.
I just did.
Make it work.
The argument that you have is that marriage is great. It's a great institution.
We already covered this.
Well, what made it great?
We already covered
What
this.
made it great?
Can we go into why it would make it work for your secular? That's the question I ask you. You're asking me questions back. Go ahead and answer the question.
So if you're talking about
So this is exactly what Greg is trying to do right now. Greg is trying to establish the frame, because he's used to having his little army of incels, you know, jerking him off on his little black pill shit. And so he's a showman. That's why he's saying all these quips and all these, like, trying to be cute, trying to be clippable. But the bottom line is very, very simple. Okay. The fact that he's scrambling this hard to try and establish dominance lets me know he's not the dominant one, because those who try to, like, scramble and quickly and aggressively take dominance, 9 times out of 10, they're not the dominant guy.
secular marriage, there's never been any point to it.
I'm sorry?
There's never been any point to secular marriage, ever. Never. What would ever be the point of secular marriage? It's always been a religious institution. That's what made it great. Now, when you say it's a great institution, what made it great for secularists, other than the fact that Sky Daddy and God had all these enforcement arms, and those things had to be enforced socially? Like, for instance, men weren't allowed to run away. And women, right, they had to show cause for these divorces. And they had to be good causes. They had to show it for things like infidelity, right? It was all biblically governed. It was all lawfully governed by this Sky Daddy guy you like so little. But that's what made the institution great in the first place. And what you're talking about here, you're making a point that divorce is bad. And yet, I agree, divorce is bad. So what we're really talking about is, how do we mitigate the risk for divorce? And we have two different methods here.
Well, the conversation, marriage good for men. That's the conversation.
But it is. We already said it's good for men. That's not even a dispute.
And now, how do we make it better, since they're avoiding?
Well, it sounds
men or women
like,
are avoiding it.
It sounds like the thing that you think makes it bad is divorce, not marriage.
Correct.
Then we need to mitigate divorce.
We're 15 minutes in, and we are in the land of reality. You finally called up. Can you tell me how we can get to the secular marriage? I mean, I've given you a chance. You're dragging your
So again, secular, there's never been any point.
He's being so aggressive. It's fucking hilarious. And like I said, the conversation here is marriage good for people? Which it is, okay? If you're in a happy, loving marriage, you love her, she loves you, it's a good thing, right? And if you can maintain that love and consistently be together with somebody. But again, Coach Greg Adams never experienced that. He's never had genuine burning desire from a woman, because if he did, she'd probably still be with him, right? So what Andrew's doing is saying the prescription that he's saying is, like, you know, just if you want to have a successful marriage, going religiously is your highest probability of success. I don't think that's, like, what's wrong with, you know, trying the best way like that under Coach Greg Adams' philosophy, right? That's like saying, let's say if you want to be a YouTuber, right? And so most YouTubers never amount to anything, right? So should he just tell everybody never be a YouTuber? It doesn't work. What really has 100% success rate in this life other than death? I mean, I love people like Coach Greg Adams, because they just, like, when women meet me, they're just like, oh, breath of fresh air. Like, finally, like, a guy that gets it, versus, like, angry black manlet.
To secular marriage ever.
Now listen, Marriage is for child creation. It would be great for child communities and all of these things. And now listen, by the time the religious aspects got into marriage, they were chopping people's heads off and burning Bibles. So listen, I know we want to take it back to the past and act like the past was better, but there's always a negative part of the past. If you go back and you look at the English, this has all been there. People were getting their heads chopped off. The Crusaders were doing their things across countries, and they were spreading Christianity to threats and violence. Now, that's what you're trying to uplift. That's what you're trying to uphold.
I don't even know what the hell you're talking about.
You wouldn't know what I'm talking about. That's where you're lacking.
I have no idea.
Catch up. You're sitting across from me.
What does have to do with divorce?
That was when your holy marriage was the best marriage that you're trying to go to. Now, listen.
In the 1950s? Were we crusading in the 1950s?
No.
What the hell are you talking about?
You talked about...
He's on some like fucking liberal. He's from California too, but now he's on some like, oh, you're a colonizer, you're a crusader, dude. Like, okay, so what? Should we all just be angry and paying for pussy like you?
Institution of marriage for 2,000 years.
Yeah.
Sir, do you need me to catch you up on what you're talking about? You're having trouble keeping up with me. You're having trouble keeping up with me. You said 2,000 years ago.
Truly,
and I told you 2,000 years ago, they were chopping people's heads off.
Which has what to do with anything?
I need you to catch up with me, sir.
Okay.
If you want to take things back to the past, you have to accept everything as the past. You can't just cherry pick. Wow, here's the thing. You're cherry picking. If you want to take things back to tradition, take it all the way back. Why stop at the 50s? Take it back to the 1890s.
What you're saying right now is so incoherent. I actually don't even understand.
Well, that's what, listen. When you're running out of bullets, the last thing you do is the shame. All right,
I'm not even trying to shame you. It's just incoherent.
I need you to catch up with me.
Okay, catch me up.
Just say you're lacking if you can't keep it up.
It's
all right, now here's the problem.
It's incoherent.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem.
I don't know what to tell you.
Here's the problem. You're
2,000 years ago they were chopping heads off. Who gives a shit?
Listen,
What does that
you said 2,000 years ago? I'm coming up with yours. Your holy religious 2,000 years ago. It's been a part of.
What does that have to do with this?
Exactly. Here's the problem. You're cherry picking.
Cherry picking what?
Listen,
I'm listening.
I'm gonna slow you down. I'm going to slow you down because I see what you're doing here. I'm going to slow you down,
okay?
Because it's hard for you to keep up.
It is.
I understand. I understand because you.
What an asshole! This guy is a fucking being quite the fucking dickhead. And again, secure people don't do this, right? Emotionally secure people with good inner game, they don't do this. This is unhealthy. I've never seen this thing, but I'm glad I got my bag of pistachios. Like I said, I love watching losers, man. Because losers make me feel so much better about myself. I'm like, wow, my life is great.
I am across. This is your toughest debate. Your audience knows this.
Oh, it's rough.
There's no God in marriage.
Okay.
In the United States.
Yeah.
Can we agree to that? When you get to divorce, there's no God in marriage.
I can't agree to that.
We need to agree to it because when you go into divorce court, there's no God. We can't bring in your God and your Bible. And at that particular point, none of your ecclesiastics marriage works. Okay. Period.
So the thing is, you just said, can we agree that there's no God in marriage? And then
you don't have to agree.
But hang on, calm down. And then you switched over to divorce. There's no God in divorce. But those are two different questions and proposition. Hang on, relax. The second thing is that me saying that what made marriage a great institution is this whole Sky Daddy character, and that the institution has been in place for 2,000 years and has been, hang on, calm down. And it's been a strong institution. I'm not actually sure how tying in that at the time they cut people's heads off, what that has to do with the fact that in the 1950s and 40s, you still had 95% of these marriages staying together. This is not ancient history. This is not even early American history. That's in your grandfather's lifetime, basically. And this, by the way, that was the case for black marriages as well. Very strong institutions. But all of those institutions were that way because they followed that whole Sky Daddy thing. They were like, oh, that Sky Daddy's going to smite us if we don't. And so what you do here is you're giving the classic progressive argument, which is, well, you know, guys, it is true that it's a great institution, and it is true it's the best place in the world to have children for the continuation of the species. And also, it's fantastic for men's health. It's fantastic for their mental health. It's great for them in almost every way. But that divorce thing is real bad. And I counter. You're right. That divorce thing is real bad. We have now a center of agreement. But now we're going back to the marriage in the West thing, which is that whole great institution problem. Well, if we agree that what made it good, which you just did, is, hey, that Sky Daddy guy, and then I point out that right now you can still utilize that Sky Daddy guy for an ecclesiastical marriage outside of the state. Hang on. And the only thing you could do is say, what about common law? But you can't govern anybody from common law. And at least in the ecclesiastical institution, you have social pressures on women to stay married. You can't offer a man anything like that. Give me a single social pressure you can offer that would actually keep these marriages together. One. What? Just one.
Can I answer something you just said? This would be interesting.
I can't wait. You said, but can you answer that question then?
No, before.
Oh,
the 1940s.
You gotta ask me a question.
Because listen, I'm listening to you. You asked the question at the end. If you would have asked it at the beginning, possibly I might have been able to address it. But let me address this point.
Okay.
You said the 1940s and 1950s with this imaginary Sky Daddy controlling marriages. That sounds like enforcement. Because by the time the 1970s came around, the very first chance women got to file a no-fault divorce without need for evidence, without need to have a private investigator to prove an affair.
Was no fault the 70s?
Yes, it was the 70s, started by Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
I'll educate you.
But hang on.
Came along. Hold on for a second. No. I got the floor here. I got the floor. So you said the religious institutions governed it and made it great. The 1970s came along, and as soon as they did, women started to file divorces at record rates, which is back to my conversation.
Record rates, yeah, because they could never have done it before, you dumbass. And they were pushed to do it by fucking media and the corporations. Like, that's the thing he doesn't realize. It's like, you guys think this is all just organically happened? It was all planned. It was planned to break the families up. It was planned to target women, to put them into debt slaves and financially extort them. They're doing it to this day. So again, I don't know what he's saying. By the way, guys, smash the like button. You know, we got to get those likes up to well over 100. So go ahead and smash that like right now.
Soon as you remove the authority of Sky Daddy, now you're back with the state. And now you have difficulty, and now the risk is now greater.
Oh.
So that's the issue. That
Then it sounds like men should be moving towards Sky Daddy then, because it mitigates their risk.
the courts, the nation should.
There's no courts.
So how do you enforce that?
What court? What courts? You're not getting a marriage from the state. What courts are involved here?
Everything you told me is a make-believe scenario.
How? You can
You're
do it
telling-
right now. How is it make believe?
How do you do that when people
Here's
the
what you-
marriages do state?
yeah.
I know you want to go
I'll
back
tell
to
you how.
Ecclesiastics. This
No,
is
I'll
going to
tell
be
you,
a
I can do it
problem.
right this second.
Okay,
You can go do it right now.
You can do it at this particular
can't
point.
do.
However,
What do you mean?
Here's the problem.
Okay.
Can you get men to do it?
Yes.
Okay, you might be able to think you can get men to do it, but as soon as they do it, I want you to stick around for the average of 8 to 10 years when these men start getting divorced. See, what you're doing is you're leading.
We've been
Hold on
watching
for a
it for
second.
longer.
You're going to lead men into a burning building.
Oh.
And the reason why, and this is a famous quote by Martin Luther King, is because the laws of integration didn't catch up fast enough for what he wanted for people to integrate. And what happened was it took him 12 to 15 years to realize that he led men or black people into a burning building in which integration was not possible at the time.
Okay.
You are also proposing the same thing. And I would like for you to stick around to see the results of what you're proposing, because eventually you would have to pay the price. How did Martin Luther King pay the price? You would have to pay the price for the men that you misled.
So Martin Luther misled men. That's why.
Somebody says CGA is 100% right. What is he right about? He's not even being coherent. Okay. All he is like, he is the male version of a feminist. He's like, you know, the feminist equivalent, but male version. So all he's been doing is being extremely belligerent in the conversation. He's been extremely rude. And he's been, the only thing he's saying is just don't get married, don't get married, don't get married, don't get married. Right? Which, sure. But men want to get married. People want to have kids. Right? If you really want to break it down, all of this is part of a depopulation agenda, but you guys aren't ready for that. But ultimately, it worked before. Then the majority of people, it worked before. And the majority of people were happier, healthier, skinnier, raising stronger quality children versus now. By the way, none of you fuckers hit the like button. What the hell is, what am I running a charity here? Hit the like button now, or I'm going to come to your living room and I'm going to hit you.
Who's killed?
I said he misled black people. You missed that part.
Those-
He said,
right.
okay, let me repeat it because you're slow. All right, you
you're
definitely
right.
are slow, Neanderthal.
That's for sure.
Let me tell you something.
What, like, what is up with all these insults? That, like, he's clearly, okay. He is clearly insecure about having Andrew in front of him, because the amount of insults, it's been 27 minutes so far, and he's just been insulting Andrew nonstop. You don't need to insult him. What, I don't get it. What, like, how is this beneficial? Even if he were to win the debate, you'd still just look like an asshole. But I mean, I guess that's just what he is, right?
I'm dragging
Martin Luther King said specifically, related to black people and civil rights, and I'll speak slowly for you, that he believed at the end, he led them into a burning building. I'm going to speak slower. The reason why is because the laws of integration did not catch up with what he would like to present. Black people weren't ready to integrate. As a result, he said, I may have led my people, that means his people, into a burning building.
Okay.
I would like for you, under your scenario, if your movement takes off, to see the results, because it took Martin Luther King 12, 15 years to see the results of his efforts. You're proposing something very extreme that majority of people aren't going to do. But let's just say because you like to hide in the clouds of make-believe, if this works, I would love to see you represent these men in a divorce when they get their head bit off by these so-called women that are forced by Sky Daddy to stay in these marriages.
This is really, like, I don't even understand.
Here's the thing. Another thing. The problem with Greg is a pussy. He's afraid of women. Maybe it's because he's 5'4". I don't know. But he is He looks at women and he's like, oh, women, these nefarious goblin, like undefeatable creatures are coming to get me. And I got to like run and hide and use prostitutes to, you know, have a better life here. He's such a pussy. He's like, what are you doing? Why are you afraid of women? Be a man. You can hide your assets, okay? You can choose a good woman. You could be smart. You could be adamant about who you select. All women aren't out here just like, oh, we're just like ready to screw every guy over. Like when you're a loser like Greg. See, Greg doesn't realize okay, in life, guys, if all you're having is negative experiences with women, then it's on you. Something you are doing is leading to that. That's the main thing here. So,
How you don't understand. I know you have a hard time understanding.
I don't actually even understand how to respond to a lot of this because it's so incoherent. But I'm going to try anyway.
Oh, yeah, see, this is let's start. This is his always incoherent when he understands.
And then what he does is he tries to talk to the host to like create an us versus them scenario to outnumber him. I know your tricks, Greg. Women do the same thing that he does right now. This is like what insecure women do.
Absolutely, you don't understand. That might be what it is, and it's okay to say you don't understand. And I can speak slowly.
I don't understand now, but I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why.
Dismissive. I mean, you know.
I'm going to tell you why.
Hey, when you're losing, just say you're losing, and I can speak.
Let me know when I can talk, and he gas out. Go ahead. Okay.
Go ahead.
So here's
typical tactic. But you can work that against these OnlyFans girls. Hey,
go ahead.
You can work that tactic against those OnlyFans girls that you debate, debating 23-year-old ignorant women.
They're smarter than you.
But now they're sitting across from a person.
They're always smarter than you.
Yeah, you're sitting across from a person here.
Oh no,
that's looking at a Neanderthal, say you don't understand something very.
Let me know when he gas out.
This is the simplest thing that you can understand. Okay. Your go. Are you sure?
Please. I can actually do it this time?
Please, put me to sleep.
Okay, so
put me to sleep.
Here's why it's incoherent, and there's a bunch of this I don't understand. You keep on saying that these men are going to get divorced, and yet I'm proposing non-state marriages. How are they going to get divorced? Well, you can only say then via common law. But again, you have no defense yourself against
these are if scenarios.
I don't said
I was going to debate somebody that's going to come.
Why do you keep filibustering?
Scenario.
I like a real scenario. I let you speak the entire time.
Give me something to speak about.
Okay. I'm not asking you to speak, man.
You're trying to invite me to your church. I'm not going to your church. Please give me a real scenario.
You have to shut up long enough for me to
come on, please. I've been here 30 minutes waiting for you to do it.
All right.
Give me a real scenario.
Okay. So what I don't understand here, again, and I'm going to ask again, in your incoherent worldview,
okay, please.
You keep on saying that these men who I propose this to are going to get divorced, but I'm not proposing that they get married through the state. The state's the one who does the divorces. So the only thing you could say is that there's a potential for common law here.
Right.
But that's something you yourself cannot guard them from by your own admission. The second problem that we have here is that I don't have to stick around for 10 or 15 years because we can look at the numbers right now in religious marriage for what this looks like. And here's what this looks like. If you're Catholic, you're way less likely to get divorced. And if you're Orthodox, even less likely to get divorced. And it's because of that ecclesiastical structure. You're not ever going to be able to prevent all risk from divorce, not under anything.
Thank God. That's the most realistic
not under any,
all day.
But not under any system. Correct. Is that going to be the case?
But why are Catholics getting divorced? How do they get divorced?
They get annulments. They don't even get divorces. Okay, and it's a really long process, and it's rare.
Christians have a similar divorce rate than the secular.
No.
So they have a very close. So how do they get divorced?
I'm going to ask
Christians get divorced.
I'll answer your question.
Please tell me. Because I know how to get divorced.
So
right into divorce court.
Take my money.
So, because they call it state marriage.
So he's making a very good point here. He's not even saying to involve the state in getting married. Just have a religious marriage. And then if you have a religious marriage, you can't get divorced. And if you can't get divorced, where's the risk in divorce now? Because only the state can enforce all that bad shit that happens after divorce. If you sign a contract with the state. Andrew just gave him a pretty bulletproof scenario there. Mountaintops man 199. Hey, do you cool with Rolo? Not really. I don't really care about him, bro. I don't even think about him. Rolo and me. Rolo will never be on my level with game, with women, with money, with seduction. He's just been doing this long and writing books and shit because when he was writing all these books, I was out having sex and partying and living life and traveling the world and making millions of dollars. You know, I don't have time to sit around and write a book. I'm too busy, you know? So Rolo sabotaged the relationship between him and I, not me. And he did it because he's jealous. Just like how Coach Greg Adams here is just a little insecure and jealous about Andrew Wilson in front of him.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm proposing that they don't do that, right?
Okay, a land of make-believe. If
How's that a man land make-believe? You can go fucking do it right now.
tell me
What are you talking about?
Look, Andrew's right. You could literally go and do it right now. It's not a land of make believe. And he's checkmated Greg right here. But Greg is going to chimp out because he's wrong and he has no fucking defense.
About what percentage of people do this particular thing that you're doing, that you're proposing?
Why would that matter? Let's say it's one person. Why would that matter?
It's one person. So you're taking a very small chance. You're arguing against me that has millions of people on my side.
Getting divorced and you don't want
but you're telling me a small 20 people in a little house on the prairie that you govern people without electricity and you riding horse and carriages. Yeah. You're telling me this small percentage of people are going to lead a movement of doing something you're proposing here on YouTube. This is going. How many people are doing this?
Okay. Why would that matter?
It would matter because then we can use some data to determine, do these people end up in divorce?
Well, we can
more than likely.
This is great because we can look at the data. So let's look at. Please. Do you want to look at the Catholic data and Orthodox data?
No.
Marriage?
We're talking about your ecclesiastic proposal. That's what we're talking about.
This is the ecclesiastical proposal.
If we're using Catholic.
Yeah. See, and now look, where is Andrew to make fun of him? Because Coach Greg Adams doesn't even understand the ecclesiastical approach is the religious approach that he's just talking about. And that's all Andrew's been talking about for the last 32 minutes. But this guy here completely went over his head, you know, again, maybe because he's 5'4", a lot of things just whoosh over that head. But, you know, where are the ad hominems now coming from, you know, Andrew Wilson, right?
In Christians, their divorce rate tends to be very close.
I'll look it up.
It's very close. Let's
not
look it up. Hold on.
Self-ID'd Christians.
Okay,
Self-ID'd Christians.
Okay.
Self-ID.
No. Let's just put Christians. He's like
Christian and Catholic.
You have to define what a Christian is.
He likes to dice up all of these people. And listen. I would love to go to your church one day. I would be a wonderful guest, and I would love to thump the Bible, and I would love to say a prayer with you. However, this conversation is entering.
Can we pull up my screen?
Very much a Sky Daddy conversation. Which it's about belief.
Brought up Sky Daddy.
You brought it up.
We got the divorce rate pulled up right here.
That's not brought that up. What is that?
That is a
all right, let's take a look. I'll get off the screen here for a second.
Religious argument.
You're an atheist. You should be able to contend with that.
A lot of people would not want to do that. You're telling me a small percentage.
Who cares? We're talking about mitigating the rates of divorce. It doesn't matter how many do it.
Can we move forward from this one? We agree to disagree.
No, we don't agree to disagree. I need counter arguments.
I
want counter arguments.
I'm not going to argue in your land of make believe.
Yeah,
no, because the reason Craig doesn't want to argue with him because Andrew has made a pretty bulletproof argument here. You know, you get a religious marriage, state's not involved. The divorce is no longer on the table, and you're good to go. Just make sure no common law things there. But again, all of this is if you have a trifling bad woman at home. And again, Greg Adams is showing, because he's now in his 50s, okay? He's lived his entire life, and the amount of self-development he has done has led him to be this rude, belligerent, prostitute-using old man. So I don't want to hear about your way of life. You clearly are just marketing to losers. Any guy who thinks, yeah, the best way for me to live my life is via prostitution is a loser, period. Because genetically, that's not what we're here to do. And back in the day, your ancestors, they weren't trading money and shit to get some fucking booty. Tricking. They weren't doing that.
You have no counter argument. You don't have one counter argument.
Here's a counter argument.
Okay, what is it?
There's no God in marriage. How many times do I have to say that?
That's an assertion. It's not an argument.
If you end up in divorce court, God doesn't matter. None of this.
He keeps on saying if you end up in divorce court, Andrew is saying don't get married through the state. And if you don't get married through the state, there is no marriage.
Shut up and take my money.
To get a divorce. So Andrew has already answered his question. So it seems to me like the low IQ dumbass Neanderthal is the guy who is chimping out, which is Greg Adams. Aussie World, $5 super chat. CGA is a man scorned by his divorce and preaches black pill ideologies with absolutely no solution back to the white pill. Exactly. Stick with me, kids. I'll get you laid. I'll get you paid. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button.
Matters. That's real. That's the realest argument that you can possibly hear.
How do you end up in a divorce court without the state?
Hold on for a second. Hold on for a second.
No, see, Andrew is making a solid point here, and Greg Adams is talking over him because he knows he's cornered and lost.
I'm going to tell you how.
Okay.
In the 1940s, which you so love, I don't know why you don't live there. You look like you live there. You're dressed like you live there.
Here's the problem.
Hold on for a second. Hold on for a second. Here's the problem.
this guy is such like a piece of shit. You know, the way he's talking, you look like you know, a lot of black scamming kind of people do like this. He acts like that fucking piece of shit saint and sinner. That's exactly how he acts like, you know, the pseudo multi-millionaire, the guy who claims he's a multi-millionaire and he drives an old beat up piece of shit fucking Benz with yellow doors. Get the fuck out of here, bro.
Okay. These people under your authoritative godly marriage still got divorced at high rates. Once no fault divorce showed up, it started at 25%. Then by the time you get here, it's also 40 and 50%. It's still prevalent. I'm giving you the reality.
That's
here.
not the reality.
You're trying to drag me back over here to the little house on the prairie. It's not working. It's not going to work with me. How about this?
How about a counter?
Traditional marriage, I gave you one.
What?
I mean, come on, man.
What is the counter argument? Come on, man. It's not a counter argument. What's the counter argument?
There's no God in marriage. And
that's an assertion, not an argument.
God in divorce court.
That's not an argument.
That there's no
okay, well,
God
there is a God in divorce court. Argument defeated.
Exactly.
Argument defeated.
Oh, my goodness, boy. All right.
Greg doesn't even know how to debate. He's like, this guy's fucking retarded. He's got to go one of these.
Retard alert.
Come on.
Did you need your sandbox outside? Did you miss your turn?
It's just ridiculous.
Like, here's a problem.
I want an argument.
This is the absolute argument.
Okay.
You're trying to drag me to church. I'm taking you outside of church. You can't combat it because you want to battle inside the church. I'm not letting you. So let's get back to the state.
I don't care if secularists get married.
Let's get back to the state.
What do you mean?
And that divorce rate. Did you find out the numbers?
Yeah, I pulled it up earlier, but I'll pull it up again. It's up on the screen. Can you guys see this? Catholic, 19-25%. Mainline Protestant, 30 to 35%. Evangelical, 26 to 33.
That's up there.
Now,
that's up there. 40.
Orthodox.
33, 34, 30. That's pretty high.
Orthodox divorce rate.
That's still a minority of divorces. And what Greg Adams, because Greg Greg is so salty about women treating him like shit. Here's the truth, right? He doesn't even factor in the IQ bell curve when you're looking at divorce. You know, 50% of the human population is 100 IQ or less. So idiots are going to get divorced. Idiots are going to lose their money. Idiots are going to fucking get killed by a vending machine they're shaking too hard and falls on top of them and breaks every bone in their body. That's what idiots do. So to say that, you know, these numbers are really, really high, they're still a minority. What you have right here is an ego-driven guy who doesn't seem to understand that the problem is him. I have guys in my community that are 5'4" that cold approach babes and pull them and have harems of beautiful women in America. Okay, because it's all about your energy. And he has manlit, little insecure energy, and women pick up on this. And they don't. Women hate bad energy, and they love good times, good energy, good feels, right? So that being said, he is looking like a fucking fool right now.
Let's see.
17 to 20?
I see average 33%.
That's U.S.
average.
That's evangelical Protestants. That's with the coalition of all of them.
Ever divorced, 17 to 20. U.S. average 33%.
Yeah, so they're much lower.
It says in the U.S. 33%. But Orthodox ever divorced, that's worldwide.
Yeah, they're much lower rates.
Okay, but you're saying that they can't get divorced. That's what you said.
No, bro.
You said, is that what you said?
The whole point here is how do we mitigate the risk of divorce? You can't ever completely mitigate it. It can't ever be completely mitigated, but you can mitigate the risk of divorce.
Okay, great.
It is lower.
Much lower. Much lower.
Okay, all right. So a chance of getting hit 30% versus 44%. This doesn't defeat the argument. It does defeat the argument. Those divorces happen in the court of law because no divorce.
Another thing that Greg Adams is not factoring in, he is assuming that all of these divorces were initiated by the women. Okay. But I think it's somewhere like 20 to 25% of marriages in the United States of America that go into divorce. The divorce is initiated by the man. So again, I think Coach Craig is about to cry. Looks like he's about to cry. I don't know why his eyes are so red. Is he smoking weed in the parking lot? Uh-oh.
Divorce cannot be reported in that's not the court of law. Actually, what is the divorce that happens outside of the court of law? If it's 33% in the court of law with your Orthodox ecclesiastic marriage, what is it outside? What is it within that?
It's even lower.
Okay, so add that 10%.
Yes.
Now we're at 40%.
No, you wouldn't add that. You wouldn't add 10%.
That's the legal
divorce.
divorce.
What are you talking about?
For a second. When you say a divorce, those are reported divorces legally. That means these people filed in the legal reported system. That's 30+%. Okay. You said there would be more that were outside of the
outside
of the state. No, hold on for a second. There's additional outside of the marriage, outside of the same.
No.
Oh, there's none.
Well,
So you're saying there's
no,
zero?
Not really.
What are you saying?
Okay, so let me explain.
Please,
so that you understand.
Additional to the 33%.
But you have to. Can you at least let me finish this time?
Please do it because you're slow.
So if it's the case, you're
He's calling him slow as Andrew has to re-explain something to Coach Greg Adams because Coach Greg Adams doesn't understand the argument. I mean,
retard alert.
Really, nigga?
hilarious.
in an ecclesiastical marriage, you're still adding usually the state. These people are all adding the state, okay? The Catholics themselves, if you were to look at their annulments rate from the ecclesiastical authority, it's actually much lower than even the percentage that you're getting from the state because they add the state in, which means some people will ignore the ecclesiastical authority and get divorced anyway.
That's exactly what I've been telling you.
Nobody ever argued that.
Exactly. But so
we're arguing about mitigating the risk. Mitigating the risk.
Still a risk.
No, it would mitigate the risk.
So the risk is slightly lower.
Much lower.
Okay, that's not that much lower.
It's much lower.
40%. You're talking about 33% to 43%.
No, we're not. We're talking about 20% to 35 to 40%.
Okay, so that's lower.
Yes.
Okay, that's all you got now.
Coach Greg Adams just went from it's not that low, and Andrew's like, actually, it was really low. It was almost half of doubled down from the national average, which is about 40%, going down to like 15 and 25% when you talk about the Orthodox Catholics. So, again, like, this guy looks like a complete fucking idiot.
That's all I need.
That's not all you need because there's still risk. How do you say
Nobody said there wouldn't be risk.
Exactly.
You
So
can't
at this
mitigate risk
particular
for anything 100%. It's not possible.
Exactly. So now why are we telling men to get married?
Because you have to, because everything is a cost benefit analysis. Your issue is not marriage.
Yep.
Your issue is with mitigating
At
the risk.
this point, it's not marriage.
It's
This is the only hold on for a second. Can I say this?
Oh my God. Can you
Hold
ever
on for a
stop saying something so I can say something?
At this particular point.
Okay, I'm listening.
You're telling me from this point, we haven't even got to the entire marriage because you're still over in the land of make-believe. We haven't even got to the other issues
What's
of marriage.
make-believe?
Hold on for a second. We still haven't got to the other issues of marriage.
I'm willing to
So
get
you're
separate.
telling me about the mitigation risk and we've wasted so much time on it. Can we talk about the other issues of marriage?
Well, okay.
Sexless
Can we
marriage?
at least wrap this up?
Yeah, let Andrew finalize this. And then
Yeah,
we'll
so
wrap it up.
the thing is like, the problem is you said it was a great institution. If you say it's a great institution, even when it was a great institution, people were still getting divorced. So if that's the case, what you're really after is just mitigating risk. And I'm giving you a perfect way to mitigate risk. Right? And the fact of the matter is that it is becoming more and more popular to do it this way. Prenup plus ecclesiastical authority almost mitigates your risk entirely, except for common law, but you can pick the state to live in for that. And you, by your own logic, can't defer from common law either. You can't protect men from that. So the thing is like, you can't have it both ways. You can't agree marriage is good and the backbone for the West, and you really like it, and it's fucking great, and it's a great institution, but also don't do it because it's make-believe that you can mitigate risk, even though you can right this second. That's insane.
Listen.
Now, that was a bulletproof statement. And that was a bulletproof response. I haven't seen this, but I have an idea. I assume that Coach Greg Adams is going to chimp out, deflect, and maybe even throw an insult or one of his little quick quips. You know, one thing I've noticed about guys like him who need to like throw little catchy sayings in their words and their explanations is because what they're actually saying, you need a little bit of deception in there to fucking make it actually hit. You know what I mean? Because what prescription has Coach Greg Adams like given so far? Just don't get married. Okay, cool. How's that working out for everybody? How's that working out? All the incels out here. Everybody miserable, depressed, nobody having kids, no families. How's that? You guys want to enter a familyless world? So how does Coach Greg Adams expect the human race to carry on if we're not getting married and having kids? How do you idiots in the chat that are on Greg Adams' side, how do you morons who have no girlfriends, who have no fucking wives, who have no children, how do you morons expect us to carry on the human race? You haven't thought much because you've watched people like Coach Greg Adams. And I could tell you, if you're watching people like him, I have a pretty good idea what your day-to-day life and bank account and all that stuff looks like.
All right, final point. Let's get to the other risks that are associated with it. We got that.
That's not that point on this.
So he's deflecting. He didn't rebut or say anything to Andrew right there. He didn't say anything.
It is. Make the final point, and then
This particular point,
you got me on that one.
Listen, we're moving forward.
Okay, we're moving
At
forward.
this point, what are the other risks that we want to guard against? We got the divorce. You're going to put them on the ecclesiastic paperwork. Less people are doing that. Not a lot of people know how to do it. He just got married. He didn't do it. All right. I can almost guarantee.
Probably not.
Exactly. So now, less people are going to do this. Not a lot of people know that. Not a lot of men are going to prepare themselves to do that.
Change that.
Exactly. So that would be a very tough scenario, and most likely it's not going to happen moving forward.
Okay.
There are other issues in marriage that typically, depending on what authority you go on,
Wait, what did this idiot just say?
once you prepare yourself to do that.
Change that.
Exactly. So that would be a very tough scenario, and most likely it's not going to happen moving forward.
Okay.
There are other issues in marriage that typically, depending on what authority you go under, are still a risk for men. Yes, it's great for the backbone, but a lot of men are in sexless marriages. A lot of women are in sexless marriages. The percentage of affairs in marriages are still a big issue. That can't be addressed. Those risks are going to be tough. And now you have an issue because now whoever's your authority has to mitigate that risk. Now all of a sudden they have to govern or socially pressure the women, and that's going to be difficult to do. 20%, 30% of sexless marriages, 20, 30% of people having affairs. This is not the intent of people who get married. So yes, we have the divorce. We set that aside. Now, what about within the marriage? How do you mitigate the risk for that? I'm assuming you're going to have the ecclesiastic come through the home and force the wives to fuck their husbands.
Oh, that's quite the straw man. But I'll go ahead and answer. Actually, the ecclesiastical authority does mitigate against this, and here's my proofs. Proof one. If it is the case that you get married to a woman who's a virgin, but she's a virgin because she's a Christian, hang on, let me get through the entirety of the arguments before you start freaking out. If it is the case, your chances of that marriage ending, very, very, very small, one. And two, they report that they have a happier sex life. This is actually the case with the decrease in body count, which generally comes with the more religious people, meaning the more that you take your religion seriously, the more that you pray, the more that you engage in that whole ecclesiastical authority thing, the less likely it is you step out of your marriage, significantly less likely. The less likely it is that you end up in a sexless marriage. You know why? Because there's a reinforcement in Christianity that men and women are not allowed to deprive each other of that, of sex, when it comes to marriage. And you find that people who follow the traditional faith generally don't. And so, yes, the ecclesiastical authority preaches that from the pulpit. Sorry, lady, you gotta fuck your husband. That's part of God's law. Yeah. What do you got for him? Go out and just fuck everybody? What are you going to do to mitigate? By the way, you're at the mercy of the same criticism. You can't mitigate guys' girlfriends from fucking around on them any more than you could a person's wife. You can't mitigate them stepping out on them. You can't mitigate them treating them like shit. You can't do anything. At least I have a mitigation. You have nothing. You have nothing. Just liberal degeneracy. Give me something you could do that would give any kind of fail-safe against this. One thing.
I don't know what communities you live in, but
you see, he doesn't answer the question. That's the sign of a charlatan. When you ask somebody a question directly and they always have to tiptoe or give you some kind of ass backwards response, they're full of shit. Very simple.
Your church pastor is going to be very busy walking in all of these bedrooms, preventing divorce and enforcing women to sleep with their husbands. Now, the first leap of faith that you have, hold on for a second. Oh, I heard you. The first leap of faith is virgin. Okay, if we look at the stats, please pull up the stats of how many women qualify as a virgin.
Virginity.
You said virginity. I'm just letting you know. You brought it up.
In America?
In America, what women percentage qualify as virgins? All right. So you're going to say very few. So you know this.
7%, age 22 to 34.
7%.
Yep.
Okay.
Do you know what?
So now we have.
Do you know what a baseline for an argument is?
That was the baseline.
Yeah.
You want to say now? Do we want to increase the body count?
Yeah,
I mean, because if you're looking at millennials, younger millennials, okay, because there's no point in older people getting married. They're not procreating. All right, they're gonna have one or two kids. That doesn't help us.
Procreate.
Not that much. All right, they're gonna have one or two kids. All right, listen. It said in the Bible, in your Bible, it says be fruitful and multiply, not add. All right, we're not adding one little autistic kid. We're multiplying.
That would be multiplying.
It wouldn't be multiplying.
Yes,
having one little bright ass kid.
You have 3 and you have one more. That's
all right.
multiplying.
Multiplying by 1. All right, that's not the answer. Okay, listen. We're multiplying.
No, I mean that's what fucking reproduction is multiplication. Like you make another human, you multiply. This guy's pretty fucking dumb. You guys watch this idiot?
Okay.
By multiples. You know what I'm talking about. Now listen.
Yeah, that is
you
multiple.
Hold on for a second. You want to convince me that there's going to be women of low body count in this secular world we live in to make your scenario work, to enforce women to have sex with their husbands from the pulpit. Yeah. Do you see? This is very strange.
Well, I have all the data to pass mine. Show me
from a very small percentage. I mean, it works in a podunk town. I don't know where you're from. We're talking about the metropolises. We're talking about major cities.
How is your plan going to mitigate that?
And the problem with a lot of people don't realize is Coach Greg Adams is a California liberal. And that's why he's very anti-God. And all these California people are very smug. You know, they're all smug pricks. They think they know some shit, but they're all just fucking two-faced liars. And again, if you just boil down, you know, looking at these two different guys, who is really going to have a better part of life? Coach Greg Adams is going to die alone in a hospice somewhere. Andrew Wilson has a wife. He has kids. He has people around him that love him. Coach Greg Adams hangs out with prostitutes in Brazil. He can't even pull bitches organically. You know? You guys are lost, man. I can't believe this fucking guy has a fan base.
How is your plan going to mitigate
I
that?
don't know if you remember. I asked you. All right.
And I
This is
told
the
you.
question and you came back with virgins.
No.
And you came back with.
He did not come. You see, and here's the thing. This is like how you know he's a scammer. He keeps on intentionally manipulating Andrew's words and statements in order to make his narrative look well. Okay? So.
Forcing sex for the
only
pulpit.
half the argument. That's why I can't respond to my arguments. So let's do it again. If you want
Please.
to mitigate.
Force women to have lower body
You're
counts.
not, dude. How's it force?
Go ahead.
How's it force?
You're the one enforcing sex.
How is it? How are we using force?
How are you enforcing sex to the husband?
Through social pressure, doofus. The same way you would with everything.
Gentlemen, your wife is going to have sex with you because church reverend enforced her to have sex with
God.
you.
Do you think?
Okay, please pull up the chat.
Yeah, pull
His
up the
suggestion is to
Uh-huh.
have a church reverend enforce you
They're
to
not
have
enforcing
burning
it.
desire to have sex with your.
Enforce requires force. Enforce is a derivative of force. You can't enforce absent force. No one's saying force.
This is how your sex is going to be had in his marriage.
Uh-huh.
It's through enforcement through the religious pulpit.
No, it's going
I
to
mean,
be
this
the
is
idea-
2025,
if it's
and we're
the
still here
idea-
somewhere on Little House on the Prairie.
If it's the idea,
I would love
that
to have
women
this reality.
If it's the idea that women have and men have both, that they're not supposed to deprive each other from this, because that is how they live the life of a Christian. The case of the matter is that they try to keep themselves sexually appealing to the partner. They try to keep themselves moving towards that state where they're found appealing. That's part of that. Why do you think? And by the way, you keep saying force. Can you demonstrate anywhere that I said that there would be any force involved with any of this, or that it's even necessary?
Yeah, and again, the reason why you see, this is why you guys get scammed and conned by all these people online, and you believe some shit that they say because you have no real life experience. Every single time that Andrew is debating in good faith. Andrew is debating with class. He is debating with etiquette, and Coach Greg Adams is intentionally being belligerent. And he is intentionally mischaracterizing Andrew's statements in order to do what's known as a character assassination, to make Andrew look like incoherent or as if he's a bad person. But the only person arguing in bad faith is Coach Greg Adams. And he's arguing in bad faith because he's a broken person. Like, happy, well-adjusted men don't fear women. Happy, well-adjusted men don't live and oh, the boogie woman is if you guys are afraid of women, you are a fucking pussy. You are a gigantic pussy. And then all Andrew is saying is, just if you want to have, because if you're gonna get in a relationship, girl's gonna want the relationship to progress. That's normal, right? And if you're gonna get married, you can do it the way Andrew says, don't involve the state. And if you don't involve the state, where's the risk for divorce? Where's the risk for divorce? And earlier, Greg Adams was also saying that the divorce laws are not changing. Well, actually, little manlet guy, no, the divorce laws are changing, and they're changing rapidly because they are indeed outdated, right? And Kentucky, they changed the divorce to 50-50 now, child custody, and guess what happens? Guess what happens? The divorce rate dropped by 25%. Okay? So again, chimping out and doing character assassinations, all that just makes you look like a dumbass to actual educated people who truly understand what's happening in this social interaction between these two.
Enforce is force.
Correct. That's what. So I was
So
correct.
yeah. So and now he's saying because he's saying oh, the pastor's gonna come into your bedroom and hold down your wife as the husband rapes her. That's basically what he's trying to say. And he's trying to make Andrew's argument look ridiculous, but Greg is a wounded man. Him and Richard Cooper are very similar. They are deeply psychologically traumatized men, And what traumatized people do is they go and they tell everybody about their trauma. These guys just happen to make YouTube channels, right? Very, very simple to take a look at the circumstances ahead of us. And I see some guys in the chat saying modern women aren't changing. And what are modern men? Modern men are obese as fuck. Modern men have the lowest fucking rates of employment right now. There are more women with jobs than men. There are more women with homeowners than men, right? There are more guys are incels than women right now, right? So why are we acting like modern men are like astronomically way better than modern women? How many guys you know gamble on the reg? Think about how stupid you guys are. If you're gambling on the reg and you're thinking, yeah, I'm going to be the one that
shut up and take my money.
I'm going to be the one that beats the casino, even though the whole gambling industry is so insanely profitable because the majority of people lose. So to sit here and cry about modern women just shows me that you're a fucking pussy, that you don't know what you're doing. You're lost. And more importantly, the most important part, you're weak. If you have to sit here and cry about modern women, you are weak. How the hell can I go out with a mini little pot belly, 2 fucking broken legs that I barely can walk around on, and I'm 40 years old, and I could go out this past weekend, pick up chicks, make out with chicks in the club, and have a grand old time. Young chicks too, young skinny babes in their 20s. How can I do that? But you're like, oh, modern women, I can't do it. It's because you don't have the skill sets to genuinely screen and attract and lead and guide a quality woman like I do, like people like Paul does, like people like King Dre does, okay? True positive masculine role models. You want to talk about leading people off a cliff? How about fucking Greg Adams telling guys to fucking use prostitution? So what happens if he uses one of these prostitutes and he gets fucking some time and he goes out, he'll go to jail? Where's your answer for that? Oh, you just gotta be smart. Hippity hoppity. Let me say some quip. You know, if ifs were fists, we'd all be drunk. Because you have no answer, because you have no substance, because you failed. You have failed in life. If women have defeated you to the point like Coach Greg Adams, you have failed. Because this test has repeatedly come to him, and he has repeatedly failed and failed and failed again, to the point that he's a traumatized man now having to push his fucking psychotic way of living on poor, impressionable young men. So are we really talking about that the answer here is for guys to become tricks? Is that not empowering women even more? By saying, oh, well, I want to have sex with you, but here's some money, massa. Is that what we are now? Is that where we're at with everything? Think about it for a second. Okay? And the laws are changing now. Divorce laws in other states are being head up to judges and lawmakers right now to be modified because the system truly is broken. Okay? So again, you know, for all of you guys in there saying like you'd rather pay for women and stuff, hey, listen, I'm sorry that you're hurt and terrified of women. Okay? I understand that you're afraid of women. But the solution that he's giving you, it's pretty simple. See, all you guys in here that are like, I would never want to be married, women are trash. That's because you guys are trash. Because you've never attracted a quality woman into your life before. You see? That's just the bottom line. I could easily sit here and make fun of all these modern hoes and say all this shit, but I've had nothing but a whole life of women loving me, serving me, taking care of me, okay? My whole life has been fucking women loving me and taking care of me. So I'm not going to be a jaded, bitter old guy. And even if I do get married and she does divorce me, that's not going to fucking stop me. I will just get back up, go out there and get another chick. Coach Greg Adams is preaching weakness to an army of weak men. Bottom line.
Is the force where?
Tell me, you're the one.
You asked the question.
Wait, you're the one that told me the church reverend is going to come and force marriage.
No,
sex.
when?
He did not say that. He did not say the church reverend is going to come and force sex. You see, he's mischaracterizing the argument in order to fucking, make himself look better. Okay? Where are those women now? I mean, bro, do you want me to keep track of like the fucking 340 plus women that I've had sex with? I don't have GPS trackers on all of them, bro. Because you know why? Because I have a fucking abundance mindset. That's why. Because I could go right now and pick up some babes easily. You don't think I have multiple women texting me to this day? You think it's just all women have just stopped interesting me? You know how many women that are fans of mine that I've even helped them get married to, and they're in happy, healthy, loving relationships where they love and take care of their husbands? You guys, if you have this negative aspect and perspective of women, it's because you're a loser. Because you never had any positive experience with women. And if you're not having positive experiences with women, it's because you're unappealing. You're doing something wrong. So instead of doubling down on your insufferable shithead nature, look in the mirror and say, what's wrong with me? What can I fix? What can I do to level up? Very simple. Okay? Very, very simple.
You said that earlier.
No, I said the
Enforcement
ecclesiastical
from the
authority
from the
uses
pulpit.
social pressure.
Social pressure.
That's
to
not
make your
force.
wife fuck your husband.
No, you're not
So
making them
that's-
do anything.
Okay, to encourage them to fuck. them.
Yeah.
Okay, this.
Don't you encourage people's wives to fuck them?
I don't need to be in their bedrooms that much.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
can't
if
force her to
somebody-
do
if a-
anything.
if
Listen, I
somebody
can't force a woman to do.
See, he's just jester maxing now. Now he's just jester maxing.
A woman called you and said, "I don't sleep with my husband. He seems angry at me." Would you encourage him or her to sleep with him?
I wouldn't encourage her to do anything, especially with
You
me.
wouldn't
I don't mess
encourage
with.
her
I
to
don't.
do
You gotta see when Andrew has him cornered, he argues like, is this guy a liberal? Is this guy liberal? This is what liberals do. Is this guy like actually liberal? He's acting like one of them, So, yeah, and then another thing that you guys love to say, okay, this is such, you guys are such fucking retards. You don't even think about what the fuck is coming out of your mouth. Someone in the chat says, all men pay money, energy, attention, time. Even if you don't pay directly with money, you spend time and energy. That's everything you fucking do, you moron. That's everything. When you go to the fucking gym, is it free? Oh, you pay time, you pay money, you pay energy, you pay attention. When you go get a fucking college degree, what do? You pay time, you pay money, you pay energy, you pay attention. What are you, fucking retarded? You guys are stupid as fuck. Oh, all men pay. We pay for everything in life, you fucking moron. Get your head out of your ass, and then maybe you can find a fucking woman to like your stupid ass. You fucking idiots.
I don't mess with married women. That's their
Brilliant. So your solution is fucking nothing. Nothing.
My solution is very clear.
What is it?
You're telling me at this particular point that you're going to enforce through social pressure. Social pressure.
That's not
Hold on for a
force.
second. Social
System
pressure
enforcement.
enforces women to be very promiscuous at this particular point. Now, you're talking about 70% of the population or better, maybe 10, that are going to fall under this category, and this is going to lead a wave of women.
It's not 7 to 10%. That's not, again, what he's doing. He's mischaracterizing the argument in order to make himself look good and make Andrew look bad. You want to talk about a feminine way of doing shit? Right here.
Women sleeping with their husband through social pressures when social pressure quite tells them the opposite. Let me
I don't even know what the hell you're talking about this.
Exactly. It's very difficult. I know.
It is
very difficult for you. I know exactly. And very not.
No, he's not making any sense. I mean, dude, this is like I don't know if this is like a low IQ black thing, but like this guy's like not making any sense. If you actually have a brain and you try to like track this conversation, this guy doesn't make any fucking sense. Okay? Let's go.
Nice tactic. But listen,
It's not a tactic. I really are trying my hardest to understand.
You're taking a very small scenario to make it the large scenario. When I'm telling you the larger scenario is the reality, and you're telling me
Both
if
the reality.
I do this, if I do that.
No,
this is
so
a
are
very
you.
small percentage.
You're doing the same
I'm
thing.
telling you about
if
what's
you get
happening.
married, you may get a
No, I
divorce.
said when.
If this happens, then this may happen.
We already looked at the statistics of it likely happening.
Yeah, no,
so that is likely to happen.
First of all, even the
Did you
statistics you
pull up
looked
the
at,
statistics again?
pull up
the marriage statistics, the
for the
divorces.
Christians. It's actually not likely, is it?
In the United States, overall in the United States.
Yeah,
So only in order for it to work, you have to be white.
You need to.
Somebody in the chat saying why the name calling MLD, because you guys are, if you have that mindset, I'm trying to help you. You are a loser. If all of your interactions with women are negative, and then you therefore are bitter and hate women, and you're like, I would never get married, because marriage would just be terrible. That means you've had nothing but bad experiences with women. Okay? Nothing but bad experiences. I have had so much fucking amazing, great experiences with women. And there's have been women I've caught cheating, doing some trifling shit. That's life. Here's why you guys are cowards and pussies. You want the perfect, safe path. Keep looking for it, because it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Okay? And that's the telltale sign of a coward. A guy who wants the sure thing, the guaranteed path, the no trouble, then how are you going to grow? How are you going to develop? How are you going to level up? You don't grow. You don't level up. You don't grow. You don't level up. You don't develop. And that's why you are the way you are now. If guys can get women through genuine desire, having game, and learning social intelligence, you can too. But you are lazy and or intellectually retarded. And either you're incapable, if you're incapable, I get it. Go cry in the corner. You're retarded. Get it. But if you're not willing to do the work, then that's on you. That's on you. Okay? How are you having sex with 300 women yet telling men to marry? How, sir? Very simple. It's called mastering the game. Because you realize when you get to my level that all the pussy, all the shit is just poof, it's a memory. Oh, cool, I banged this girl. Oh, that's all I have is memories. And then you start to realize it's a waste of time. Because when you learn game, right? And when you learn game and when you learn the ability to seduce women, you start doing it easily. And then it's like playing a video game with the cheat codes on. How entertaining is playing video games with the cheat codes on? Not that entertaining, not that fun, not that long, because there's no more challenge. You've mastered the game. There is no more challenge. There's no more room for you to grow and develop. Okay? Big difference there.
Make a certain hold on for a second. You want to break it down? So you want to go in order for your marriage to work, they have to be white, Christian.
They don't have to be white.
Make money, and then also probably live in a certain region.
If it's the case,
what if that's not the case? Because in the United States, I don't know where you live, but in the case,
then we use the apparatuses.
If you take the rest of the United States, they're highly not that. That is outside of those demographics.
And don't you want to change that?
What if they're outside of that? What if they're not white and Christian?
Don't you want to?
What if they're not Christian to make 100K? What do you suggest then?
Yeah. So here's what I would suggest. If it's the case that in the black community you have more divorces than the white community.
Joel, $20 super chat. Thank you so much.
Get money!
I remember getting a notification about this debate and expecting it to be interesting. CGA had the advantage going into the debate. All he managed to show is that he doesn't play to win. He plays to not lose. Disappointing. Again, like I said, a loser.
There's going to be contributing factors for why that is. I don't think that black people are just ontologically different than white people. Do you? Do you just believe at their core they're just ontologically different, or do you think that they're the same? Because if that's the case, if
Greg doesn't know what the word ontologically means.
for equal people and equal people groups, then there must be some other social factors which are relating to this that increase the divorce rate in the black community that doesn't exist yet in the white community. If that's the case, we would specifically target those issues to prevent that from happening, right? We're going to do this across, we're going to do this across the board. Well,
what would they be?
For the black community, there's a bunch. The one, you have a distinction in economic certitude. The second one is you had a massive abortion rate, which is super problematic. Another one is you use matriarchal structures in the family home instead of patriarchal. Huge issue that you have. By the way, when it was Christian-based, didn't happen. It was a patriarchal structure inside those black homes.
For you retards in the chat saying, okay, cool, where's your wife?
Shut up and take my money.
Where's your ecclesiastical marriage? First of all, if I did have a wife, I would definitely not put my wife on the internet and endanger her to prove and to an incel like you that you're wrong. Moreover, if you actually had a woman in your life, which you don't, I understand. I can help you with that. Genuinely speaking, I can help you with that. I just helped a bunch of guys this weekend. I'm really good at what I've done. If you look at behind me, I've made $4 million with my brand. Those awards right there. Okay. I'm actually very fucking good at helping guys get laid and get women that love them and respect them. All right. Mentally stable women too. That being said, all right, all you're doing when you're saying all these things is you're just telling me you don't get it. You don't get women. You don't have game. You don't understand it. Because a real G knows you don't put your woman on social media and you don't put your private relationship, your family, all that shit on social media for the world to see. Because that brings problems. And guess what you have to do as a man in the family? You got to solve those problems. And if you had a brain, you would know that as a man, you're probably trying to live your life with as least amount of problems as possible, not bringing in all these problems just to prove to people on the internet that you're some cool guy. All right. So very simple to understand. Dr. B, 84, $5 super chat. This debate really had people questioning Coach Greg Adams after. And here's why. I will break it down to you. This is why when you see people who do a little clip here, do a little video there, or they only do solo live streams, they never go on panels. That's why these guys always get exposed, because in their little curated reality that they can make themselves look better than they actually are when they have everything set up and perfectly angled and saying the right things. And that's why he's saying, I can't believe he speaks like this. Like, what fucking quips do I have? Like, my own quip that I was just like, boom, baby, we're live. Money muscles, game frame, ejaculate and evacuate. Like, that's the shit I say, but it's intentionally comical. It's intentionally ridiculous. But the fact that you gotta, try to like, hey, he reminds me of like a snake oil salesman from the 1940s. Is like, hey, buy this tonic, because if you don't buy this tonic, you're not on it. And don't you want to be on it with this tonic? Buy it now. It's like, dude, get away from me. Like, run in the other direction now. Getting laid ain't the same as staying married, bro. How would you know? Because you're not doing either, are you? You let me know. You let me know. I'm here for you. I've argued with idiots like you guys before. I will help you. I will lead you to the promised land. I will help you. I will make you realize women are the fucking best thing that happens to a man's life. Other than kids. I haven't had kids yet. Not that I know of. But, I mean, you guys are screaming incel energy right now. You guys are fucking screaming. All right? All the women MLD smash. He wants another man to go behind him and marry them. That's what's happening every day, bro. Have you, did you just come here in a time machine from the 1800s, or where are we at here? Every girl that you hooked up with has been a virgin?
Boy, they didn't put up with shit. Not the case anymore. So you have multiple factors here which need to be addressed. I agree with that. Nobody ever disagreed with that, though. What we're trying to do is look at the mitigation of risk. And even for the black community,
handled that already.
If the black community moves in to these conventionally traditional churches, they still will have the same ecclesiastical authority, which will assist them in governing their marriage that white people would have, and it would still assist with the mitigation of risk. What's the alternative? It's just degeneracy, right? The alternative is just like, well, just hump them and never get married. Well, what good does that do for blacks? What good does that do? It just leads to more abortion. It just leads to more degeneracy. It leads to high crime rates, and the single motherhood's out of control.
Yeah, you want to talk about what's a total fucking mess? The black community in America. That's a total fucking mess. You want to talk about what community has the largest amount of single mothers? That's also the black community. You want to talk about fucking crime rates based per capita on top of that? That's also the black community. All right. So he's offering a total solution here, because, you know, I know that people say like, oh, you know, black people have lower IQ and blah, 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 you know, when they document this stuff. But that's just because they are just economically disadvantaged. They have done, there's a book, I forgot what the name of the book. I think it's called, I read this book on IQ, and actually what they did was, I'm going to pull this book up because I recommend all people to read it, especially if you're an African American. Read this book when anybody says the low IQ shit for blacks. But they found out when black children received the same amount of nourishment and growth during their developmental years, the IQ range was similar. So quite frankly, like if you the whole low IQ black thing in the United States of America is just straight up due to the fact that like they're just not getting enough nutrients and nutrition in their growing ages to properly grow and develop the brain properly. Oh, I could search. Hold on, let me just see IQ in my library. No. Intelligence. Where's this? I want to read this book to you guys. What you guys have it? Okay. Summary of the bell curve. Intelligence and class structure in American life. Okay. Summary of the bell curve. Intelligence and class structure in American life. Phenomenal book. Really, really, really good book, especially if you're African American. Check that book out. And what Andrew's saying here is spot on. Like, what are we going to do? We're going to have a fucking nation of criminals? Do we really need more single moms out there? I can only make fun of so many single moms in my reaction videos here. Okay. But I mean, this is what Greg is offering. He has no solution. That's what I've been saying consistently on my channel now. A lot of these guys are like, marriage is cooked, women are cooked, relationships cooked. No, motherfucker, it's cooked for you. It's cooked for you. And I said it yesterday on my show. The average guy now in America, he's cooked because the average guy is obese. The average guy is addicted to porn. The average guy is addicted to fucking video games and gambling. The average guy is eating fucking cancer food nonstop around the clock, eating up all his money and giving himself cancer. So like I said, I don't want to fucking hear it. All right? I don't want to hear it. This is just, at this point, it's asinine I can't even believe, I can't believe, but I can believe that Greg Adams is like this, really. And apparently he had some beef with Myron or something. The fact that he's going from place to place to place and having conflict in this relationship, conflict in this relationship, conflict in this relationship. Well, look at the common denominator. You think he's just going to go around women and stop fucking arguing and have like a good fucking relationship with them? Of course not. You shall know them by their fruits. So pay attention.
So like, what are you doing to prevent any of that? Nothing. Nothing. Tell me what? What?
Okay, thank you. You said things that people have known for the past 45 years, but I appreciate that. Hold on for a second. Thank you for contributing to a common conversation that people know, but you offer no other solution.
MLD's 40 years old talking about game and frame. That's right. What do you talk about on your YouTube channel?
Really, nigga?
Silence. I command you to be silent.
That's great. Now, here's a problem. Here's a problem with this. It's an if scenario. That would be great if we can go back to this. It would be great if we can go back and look at and say that blacks, when they were in the 40s and 50s, they had more stable relationships and marriages than even white folks. Here's the issue. Okay. Why stop at the 40s? Let's talk about 1863. Okay. Your tradition seems to always hit this point of 1940s where you shine this light of traditionalism that you've never lived in, that seems to be in a snapshot of something that you don't even know about. Then when I fast forward,
saying anything, dude.
Again, you're not listening. When I fast forward to 1970, when it falls all apart with no fault divorce, based on what I've been arguing, what happens? All that traditionalism falls apart. Why don't we take it further? Why don't we take it back to bride prices? I mean, how far in tradition you're going to go? You're only going to bang your head around 1940 and 50 because you watched a couple of movies and I Love Lucy episodes? That's not tradition. Okay. That was a snapshot in history that you're trying to achieve again. So take it back further. There's no marriages in the black community.
Let's say we'll take it. Let's say we take it all the way back to the 1700s. Let's just say, just for the sake of it, right? And that I'm totally wrong about all this, just for the sake of argument. Let's just say, What is your prescription to deal with any of those issues when you're telling men in the black community to not get married? How is that going to assist with abortion? How's that going to assist with strong fathers in the home? How's that going to assist with the only demographic population which can't reproduce itself? How? Can you give me a single prescription to any of that?
Let me tell you something. I agree with you on this.
I just want a prescription, dude.
There's a problem. I agree with you. And listen, if you had any ability to provide this prescription better than Louis Farrakhan or Martin Luther King,
does that mean no?
Give me a second. Listen to me.
You see the fact that he has to like add some like, you know, wordy thing. I need to talk about Louis Farrakhan and Martin Luther King. Hey, black people, you're going extinct. That's why, by the way, that's the goal of Planned Parenthood. It was a woman who hated the black community and she wanted to use abortion to get rid of blacks. And it's kind of working. So if you don't want to be extinct, black people, I mean, if you want to be extinct, go ahead. But I like being alive. I like having my people around. Coach said Myron to fuck off. Are we even surprised? Are we even surprised? Everybody that I told Myron don't fuck with, that guy's going to fuck you with down the road, he started fucking with Coach Greg. I was like, dude, don't fuck with that guy. I was like, that guy is an angry little manlet, and that guy has betrayer energy on him. What did he do? Didn't listen to me. Now look at this. Same thing with Saint and Sinner. Saint and Sinner, I'm like, this guy is clearly a fucking charlatan, right? Don't deal with that guy, Myron. Myron, how is that guy telling you, I told Myron and Fresh, how is this guy telling you he's worth $10 million and he's driving an old beat up Maybach with yellow fucking doors on it? Okay? You know why I know this guy's a fucking scammer? Because I have actually been very rich. And when you are very rich, you know what you do? You don't buy a car. You're driven everywhere. Okay? When I was in Tokyo, you think I fucking had a car? You think I was on trains? No. I'd be like, hey, Mr. Kobayashi, chop, chop, get that white glove on, motherfucker, and drive me around the city. That's what I did. That's real rich. But he didn't want to listen to me. So, hey, it is what it is. I will continue to be Myron's friend. You know, I'm like Jesus. I will never leave him nor forsake him. Okay? I love my buddy, good old Myron Gaines. And the fact that Coach Greg Adams said that to Myron, guess what, Coach Greg Adams? Now, you're on the list. You're on the list. And it's the list of gay people.
Gay!
These men have tried to pretty much heal this issue, and they haven't. So Andrew Wilson certainly not to. Neither will CGA. So I don't have a prescription for the black community because the black community is pretty much doomed at this particular point.
That's terrible to say. That is so fucking. That's crazy. That's crazy. Like, as a black man, that he would tell black people you're doomed. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Why would you put that hopelessness into the mind of your people? That's crazy. That's like that. Honestly, I didn't think he would. I'm like, this is real. Like, I am literally at a loss for. I can't even believe he just said that. Somebody said his black card is gone now. Oh my God. You guys are fucking hilarious. I love you guys.
They have too much degeneracy. They have single mother rates at the 70 and 80%. But I'm going to tell you something. You want to come in here and tell me something about ecclesiastics, and you're telling me about the reality of the black community, how to fix it. Nobody's been able to fix that community. So there's nothing you can do, and I can't offer any solution for that.
Look,
now, at that particular point, you're saying the risk is higher. It certainly will be higher under those matriarchal conditions. So you get no argument from me there.
Big JL is in the chat, and this is exactly why you shouldn't watch this kind of content. He says, yeah, I had to chill on watching CGA. It's black pill, gloom, and doom content. Let me tell you something, kids. Let me tell you something real quick, all you guys out there. For you guys that may or may not know this, all right? I grew up in a single mother household. I never met my dad. I was physically abused, emotionally abused, verbally abused. I was beaten to a bloody mess when I was like 7, 8, 9, 10. It was just the reg of just me getting my ass beat to a bloody pulp. After that, the psychological abuse continued all the way until I was 18 years old. And I grew up super fucking poor, right? When I was 19, got arrested for smoking weed, fucking went to jail, just 24 hours in jail. But, all the bad shit that could happen to somebody, it happened to me. And if I were to follow the statistics about me, single mother guy, right? Immigrant mother, abused, incarcerated, if using drugs, smoking weed at a young age, if I were to have listened to like the facts and the statistics of what happened to people like me, I wouldn't be here right now. You see, in life, you have to be optimistic, because when you're optimistic, it's going to give you more resilience to push through the hard times. Because success, all it is enduring through hard times and uncertainty as you try to work on a problem that's going to get you out of your certain financial situation that eventually gets you up. But you can't be a negative, pessimistic shithead and expect good things to happen. So I reject all of this doom and gloom stuff. I reject all of this negativity. I reject all this stuff, because if I were to be like them, then I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be this multi-million-dollar fucking business generating guy, not even fucking talk about the millions I've generated in investments too on top of that. So that being said, I just think this is like astronomically insane to even say that to people. That like this, I don't know, this guy, I think this guy's really just very damaged individual. Very sad too. Very, very, very sad.
So at that point, where's your statistics lie then?
Well,
where's your solution then?
I'll tell you again. So I'm glad
he's going to solve the community problems here. I would love to hear this.
Listen again. I'm not saying
the black community problem solved by Andrew Wilson.
That says the guy who literally just got done saying, I have zero prescriptions.
Because nobody does. That community is here. But I would love to hear the black community solved by Andrew Wilson.
Yeah, so let me tell you a bunch of things that can be done which will help mitigate these issues.
Please do, please.
Well, and the thing is that he's saying that, like, he's acting like the black community was just always this, like, blight on society. And back in the 40s and 50s and stuff, like, black divorce rate was actually lower than white divorce rate. Black people stayed together. The black families stayed together even more tighter than white families. So the problem with Coach Greg Adams is he has a big ego. And when you have guys like this who have a big ego and they claim something like, this is definitely the truth and only this is the truth, and any other way is a grift, it's a scam, and they'll try to make fun of it because their ego invested, because they don't want to get proved wrong. Because when you get proven wrong, then you realize, oh shit, so this is something I can change. I could tell an insecure guy when I see one. And that's Coach Greg Adams is definitely that. Because sometimes he pops up in my X feed. I have him blocked, but he fucking, anytime he like talks to girls in the street, he's like, oh, hey, I'm a fucking superstar celebrity. I'm a celebrity, girl. I have never, ever in a million years ever tried to lead and fucking tell a girl that I'm fucking celebrity. Oh, look at it. Here we go. I found it. This is, oh my God. This is giga cringe. I'm sorry, okay? But this is super giga cringe. This is your average 50-year divorcee's experience in Prague, okay?
That's the very definition of the dark side. How are you?
Good.
Good. What's your name?
Lucy, who are you?
Lucy. I am Greg.
Hi, my name is Lucy. Greg, what are you doing here in Prague?
Where are you from?
I'm Czech, but I'm not born in Prague. Like nobody else is born in Prague. We all
Everybody comes from everywhere.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I've been noticing.
We do.
Okay.
And today is my birthday. That's why I'm having myself a lunch.
By yourself?
Here. Well, it's right now by myself. Instead of working, I took myself for lunch and then I take myself for shopping. I love.
Wait for it. It gets cringe.
I love America, and I used to live in LA for just a few months.
Okay.
But I wish to move there. So what are you doing here?
So I'm doing here. This is my group. All right. I stream every day. I'm a live streamer. I'm a social media internet superstar. They call me the King of Kings.
I'm a champagne superstar.
What's a
I'm stupid. You're smart.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
King of Kings. King of Kings. If I ever call myself, like, I intentionally make fun of myself. I say that I am the supreme leader of the hot dude army. Obviously, I know I sound like a fucking retard, but like, wow. And I know exactly what's going through his head because I've done way more cold approaches and had way more success with cold approaches than Greg Adams. Not that really it's a fucking, you know, a feat to defeat an incel like him. But the fact that he had to sit there and say that stuff reeks of insecurity, right? Reeks of insecurity. When you're that dude, women just feel it. You don't need to say anything. If you're sitting next to a woman and you feel you need to do something like, you know, you're at a bar, you need to like show a little money. You hope like, oh, I'm going to like signal that I have money to her. Or you need to be like, oh, you know, hey, what's up, girl? How are you? How's it going? Tell me about your day, girl. You know, don't look at my Rolex, girl. Let me just fucking, like, you look like a fucking clown. All right, you look like a fucking clown. Which, I mean, he is a clown because he's gesture maxing.
The first is
that you can accomplish, not some pipe dream.
That can be accomplished.
Here we go.
That can be accomplished politically, and already are beginning to be accomplished politically. The first is you have to outlaw abortion. You have to. It has to be outlawed. And not by state where you can just go to the next state and do another abortion, right? One of the biggest problems with promiscuity.
If somebody in the chat said hot dude army sounds gay as fuck. If you hear hot dude army and the first thing that goes to your mind is homosexual thoughts, I've got some bad news for you, buddy. But,
Gay!
yeah, I mean, like, you know, if that's the first thing that goes to your mind, maybe you're a homosexual. Maybe you like to suck dick. That's why you watch Coach Greg Adams.
In the black community is that they use abortion as a form of birth control. Same problem that you see in the white community, by the way. It's just more prevalent in the black community. The next problem that you have there is the lack of religiosity, where there used to be a really strong core religious base of based black men. And they were patriarchal, very patriarchal. And the thing is that it's the idea of these feminist bra-burning lunatics that told black women not to be under the evil patriarchy of their men. And yet, at this point, the men are rolling over and allowing the matriarchy to take over in their own community. Is a return to traditional church ethics going to assist that? Of course it will. Of course it will. How do I know? Because it did then, just a few short years ago. I'm not talking about hundreds of years ago. I'm talking about 60 years ago.
Facts. 1,000% slam dunk facts.
By the way, there's other things that you can do too. Getting rid of EBT, getting rid of social programs which are designed to keep people dependent. These are all things which can be politically accomplished. Just like abortion, the starting of banning that was politically accomplished in our lifetime. And the thing is like, you have no prescriptions. Fuck, at least I'm trying here, man.
Man, Andrew, you are Captain Obvious. This is the obvious
then why didn't
prescription.
you obviously? Then why?
You see, like, I swear to God, Greg, this is what he does. He practices all this stuff. He gets a little stool, right? Like a stool like this tall. He puts it in front of the bathroom mirror. He gets up on the stool, then he looks at himself in the eye in the mirror. And he starts saying these like little quip things. And the fact that he has to consistently communicate with insults already shows you where he is as a person. And it's not a good thing. It's not a good look. It's not a good look.
You obviously stated as a prescription.
Because people have exhausted the means to be able to do this. Trust me, there have been people way better than you that dress better than you and shave their beard better than you that can do this, and they haven't been able to accomplish it.
See, again, he insults his clothes, he insults his beard, right? Like, all that stuff is crazy. You know, really, really, really crazy, honestly, to hear all that stuff. 51 years on this planet, brother. MLD, sit this one out about ninjas. I don't know what that means. Are you black pilled about black people too?
Democratic Party that is highly influential. 92% of black women voted for Democrats. That's also possibly where most of those women go to church. Most of black churches are overwhelmingly women. It's a women's club. And you're telling me about something completely obvious that everybody has pointed out for 25 years. You're not giving me anything new. This is a completely obvious scenario. And you believe that you've enlightened me over here and you're waiting for me to give you a solution. Let me tell you something.
It's not about changing your mind.
You certainly would never do that. Now, at this particular point here,
no.
The unsettling experience that
he's addicted to his misery. The funniest thing about Coach Greg Adams is he's a fucking bro. You got to pay for pussy. Like, you can say whatever you want. You can say all your quips, all that shit, but you have to pay a woman to fucking get naked for you. That alone is like, fuck, I won, bitch. I won. Very simple.
Experience in divorce. All right. You're saying you're just going to mitigate it or eradicate it. What about the small percentage of men that experience it and go through issues like high levels of self-deletion, high levels of them not being able to recover financially ever? They're still going to experience this under your scenario. Yes. This doesn't disappear. What prescription do you have for those men that went to your marriage? Yeah. They got divorced 33%. What do you do with these men? Okay, 20%, 30%. It still was at a high rate.
I think it would
what prescription
than that.
You would hope so. You would hope so. The hope is not a strategy. What hold on for a second. What scenario do you have for men that you led into the burning building when they experience separation from their children, parental alienation, high levels of self-deletion? Yeah. What prescription do you have, sir, that you sold? You have all the answers. Please enlighten us. So, what are you going to do with these men? Are you going to enforce them to have sex with other virgins that you have on the sideline?
I'll answer the question, but I want to make a deal with you that if I answer this last question of yours, that you'll actually answer when I ask you after that.
Listen, we're not in a court of law. I don't have to answer anything. I can state something.
Yeah, no, but I'm asking if I can make a deal. That if I answer this question, you'll answer
the question that you asked me.
So we're not going to make a deal on that?
I don't have to make a deal. Listen,
you don't have to. I'm asking if you.
This is why people like him are just hated. Like, if you really want to talk about who's truly secure in themselves, it's definitely not Coach Greg Adams. He is so insecure. This guy is screaming insecurity. He is a very, very troubled old man with fucked up inner game. His inner game is so fucked up. It's actually astonishing to see in real life. This is the longest I've ever watched him say anything, you know?
Shut up and take my money.
He insults his clothes, but CGA got dressed up to get fucked by Andrew in this debate. I mean, yeah. I mean, his suit is like, he's talking about, you know, fucking Andrew's outfit. I mean, his suit is clearly a cheap suit. That is not, you could tell too, because, you know, I'm actually rich. You could see here, you see this? Like, this is very cheap and crappy suit material. This is not high quality suit material at all. You could tell by the fucking coloration, you know, by the fadedness, you know, even this, how this is sewed and stuff. This really is not really that well done at all.
Possibly. So go ahead.
Possibly. Okay. Well, then I possibly will hold the debate hostage until you possibly make a deal with me.
All right. Great. So that gives me the floor.
So we'll just sit here and stare at each other, or we just filibuster each other. Like
at this particular point.
So
you don't want to.
So I can answer
it. You want to answer it,
but you're not going to answer. But you're not going to answer mine. I just want that clear. You're not going to answer mine after. You're just going to filibuster and stonewall again.
I ask you the question. Put it on the table.
So this is pretty simple, right? What's your?
It's a perfect definition. He's filibustering and stonewalling. That's all he does. He's filling the conversation with dead air because Coach Greg Adams, his whole incel life is based upon this whole brand. So he knows if he goes out there and loses, the black community will clown him, right? Fucking rightfully so. But that being said, the fact that he's just been sitting here and really just saying there is no strategy, there is no hope, there is no strategy. People don't want to hear that shit. People want a solution to their problems, and there is a solution. Unfortunately, Greg Adams doesn't have the solution. That's why he's telling people to pay for sex and pay for prostitution. And that's his prescription. To be a trick.
Posing here. Every policy prescription which is made anywhere in any nation, with any people group, from the tribal all the way to the national level, is going to be a trade-off, no matter what. There's always going to be some people who are disaffected by it in some small percentage, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it. We don't run societies based on outliers. Yes. The second thing is, when it comes to suicide in men, particularly, one of the best ways to mitigate that is to begin the process of eliminating deployment of troops abroad. Because one of the biggest contributing factors to male suicide, including in marriage with divorce, is their veteran status. And it's because they really depend on their family to assist them with what's going on mentally from the fact they've been deployed in these wars. And one thing you could really do that would help that's what the American First policy is we want to bring the troops home, no more foreign wars. That will greatly help and aid with this problem. And by the way, policy-wise, it's already been aiding with this as Trump has wound these wars down. And by the way, I'll point out
that's a good one. I like it.
I'll point out a few more things that you can
please do. Yes.
So another thing that you can do is at the national level, right? From propaganda works. I'm sure you agree. Propaganda absolutely works.
Absolutely.
If at a national level you had propaganda, which instead of showing LGBTQ flags, degeneracy, girl bossing, shit like this, which is what you see everywhere, you had institutional family units instead. Right. And that was what you saw everywhere that you went. And that was where the social status was at the time.
And that's still the norm in places like Korea, places like Japan, places outside of the West, outside of America, which is controlled by a group of people that shall not be named because they're plugging everything through the media to destroy our society. And it's working out pretty swimmingly so far, but we're going to fucking figure that out and conquer, maybe have a big oven party again. But that being said, in other countries where they have, family being portrayed in a positive way everywhere, it's like not nearly as bad as it is in America. Only in America, right? Only in America.
Shut up and take my money.
Seriously fucking a problem. It's everywhere. Withers Cold, $4.99 super chat. He says, I can't take anyone who pays for box serious when they talk about women. Just stay in your cave and enjoy your life, bro. Exactly. Shut up, incel. You don't know what you're talking about. Shut your fucking incel mouth. Okay? Go pay for your pussy. Go get that non-genuine desire sex too. This guy's never had a woman genuinely attracted to him. Genuinely. But when a girl likes you guys, when she genuinely likes you, she can't stop doing anything but making your life better. She wants to come. She wants to fucking come over and suck your dick. She wants to massage your back. She wants to clean your kitchen. She wants to take care of your dog. She wants to fucking clean your car. She wants to help your business. That's the reality of when you're in a relationship with a woman who genuinely likes you for you. And the funny thing about Greg is that he's continuing to keep this path and pattern with himself going on, because now he's introducing himself to girls. Hey, I'm a celebrity. I'm this. I'm that. To this day, bro, first of all, my clout is like anti-clout. I don't ever lead with the fact that I have 200 million plus views on my channels across the internet and fucking 100,000 or whatever the fuck, 200,000, whatever the fuck's on this channel. And then my Instagram, I don't lead with that shit because I don't need to. I'm already the fucking man. Take my YouTube channel away, I'm still the fucking man. Now I just don't have a YouTube channel. This confidence that I have, I'm trying to impart in you. But you can't get where I am being a fucking victim. You can't be like me. Because, guys, I was just an average guy like you. I was an average guy just like all you guys. I don't come from some rich fucking family. I don't come from some entitled shit. My family's fucking crazy. Okay? If anything, I have shit that is holding me down. And I was still successful in spite of these things. So you could choose to be a victim. Or you could choose to do the right thing for yourself as a man. Make money, make muscles, learn game, hold frame. That's the prescription. That's my prescription. And it'll always be my prescription. And if you've worked with me, like the 5,000 plus people I've fucking helped over the last 6+ years in my coaching programs, if you worked with me, you know I'm the fucking man and I get you results. My biggest problem, you know why people like Coach Greg Adams, his audience is big and he has all these live streams? Because he keeps you guys slaves. He keeps you on the plantation. He keeps you shackled to the fucking hopelessness of his message. And then you keep coming back and feeding into this more and more and more and sinking deeper into despair, deeper into unhappiness. That's the difference. Okay? So don't sit here and choose hopelessness. It's fucking pathetic, especially as a man.
Top-down level, that would really help change people's psyches around. The same way they were indoctrinated towards the degeneracy, same way you can indoctrinate them out of degeneracy. That's how we got a whole nation to smoke. And it's also how we got a whole nation to quit smoking. So the thing is, like, there really are good prescriptions here. And the only thing I get from you... Wait a minute. Hang on.
We're talking about
hang on. Almost done. Almost done. Okay. Yes, that'll help with self-deletion of men. Yes. And it's one of the biggest contributing factors. Single motherhood, another huge contributing factor. These are all things which we need to mitigate. And by the way, these are all great prescriptions. You said I don't have none.
No, for a second. That's what you said. Now, here's the deal.
He did say he didn't have one.
These are great prescriptions. I happen to live in the time that you're talking about when the FCC didn't allow degeneracy, and I was able to live through the time where they started to allow it. So I, unfortunately, was able to see a time where America was great, and now we had dysfunction. So I agree with some of those things. That took place probably 40 or 50 years. It would take a very, very unique scenario for that to occur when you have Cardi B and this type of music out here. And she's a single mother divorcee with a man that is having babies.
See, now that's a good argument.
Okay, so how...
That's an actual argument.
Hold on for a second. No, that's something that you agree with. That's okay.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
Argument. No, it's an agree. You disagree. You can be humble enough to say you agree.
That's an actual argument.
No, listen, you don't have to be, you don't have to belittle or attempt to belittle.
Well,
yeah, like you've been belittling this whole fucking goddamn time together. That's rich coming from your fucking milk dud head looking ass.
You're a grown ass man.
Just say you agree.
Hey, listen. Just say you agree. You want to be
not a matter of agreement. It's a matter of recognizing that was the argument.
Okay, sir.
It's the only argument you've made
to somebody across from you. No, just say you agree. You can humble yourself in the.
I don't agree. It's just an argument.
You agree. Be a big boy.
See, and again, Coach Greg Adams is a fucking dumb idiot. This guy's really fucking dumbass. All Andrew was saying is like, oh, you finally have made an argument. And then now he's saying, oh, so you agree with me? He's like, no, dude. No. That's like not what I'm saying at all. He says, you're finally making an argument, which is he's finally having a position because he really hasn't had a fucking position. Otherwise, everything's fucked. I'll get married. Okay, great. Thrilled. Thanks a lot.
Big boy.
I don't agree, but it's an argument.
Here's a second.
Okay.
You're telling me it's going to take 50 to 100 years. No. I ask you about a man that's considering taking his life today. You're telling me about propaganda machine. Okay, there are men here that are been abandoned from their kids. They've been alienated. I'm talking about today. I'm not talking about in the...
If you get abandoned by your kids, you weren't a good father. Like, if you didn't impart enough wisdom and intelligence into your children as a father, like you didn't spend time building emotional love and connection with your kids, and then the wife takes them away, and then she's allowed to trick the kids and brainwash them and your impression of you out of the kids, then you're a fucking retard of a father. Straight up. You failed as a father. A lot of these guys who saying that get wrecked financially when they're in a divorce. Well, why did you hand over all the keys to the kingdom to your wife? Why do you have joint bank accounts? Why do you fucking letting her spend endlessly if you running to play catch up your whole life? Why are you doing that? Right?
Shut up and take my money.
Coach Greg Adams' beard looks like the cuck beard meme. Does.
Church. I'm talking about today. Okay, you're telling me about some scenario where you're going to change liberalism and bring in righteous conservatism. That's not going to work today. We need solutions for men today.
It's already happening. Bible sales are at an all-time high. Christianity's a comeback, and white fertility rates are rising again. This guy's a fucking dumbass.
Not 50 years from the turning point meeting. Okay, at this point, today, we have men that are in dire need of help. I agree. They're going through unsettling situations and divorces. This is who I speak to, and you keep telling me obvious answers about propaganda and changing this and going to church. This sounds great on paper, but that doesn't happen today. You don't start that today. Can you give me one solution you got that starts today, mister? I got all the solutions. We can start today.
Yeah. If you assist with funding MRA groups today, MRA groups today who are trying to legislate and get legislation passed today to create preventative measures for those men today. Now, if you ask me, can you do anything about a man who might be willing to blow his head off right this second because he's already going through the events of divorce, which I had nothing to do with, wasn't there for, could never do anything about?
Nobody can do
anything about it. Of course nobody can, but that's built into
your righteous, ecclesiastic reverend built from the pulpit.
Yes, but it's built into the question. What you're building into the question is probably the worst framing ever. Andrew, if somebody right this second is willing to do something bad, can you stop them? It's like,
here it comes. Look at the scenario. But your scenario is to change MRA funding when women outvote men 60 to 40%, and you have women lobbyist groups and 0 men lobby groups. That's what you're telling me. We're going to change to fund MRA groups.
Congress makes the law, not the voters, sir.
When MRAs are on some terror lists. Yes. Yeah. So you're telling me that they're going to start just switching funding. We're just going to switch funding over here to a terrorist organization, according to some of these websites.
Yeah, I would say this is
just a pie in the sky. All your solutions are completely.
Not only is it not pie in the sky, but I'll give you an example.
You see, again, Greg has been a guy who has basically had to take the short end of the stick his whole life. So this like hopelessness and defeated nature that he has in his mind, right? That alone is showing that, you know, he truly is already defeated in his mind. Because like this is just like Rolo saying the pendulum won't swing back the other way. Right? This is just wild, bro.
I'll give you an example.
The least possible situation.
I'll give you an example of where it's already happened. So I would argue that the traditional churches are MRAs, that they are men's rights advocacy groups, and that's where traditional masculinity is mostly found today, where men are even allowed to be masculine. Hang on. Let me finish my point. And it is the case that those MRAs, in this case the traditional churches, already got abortion rolled back, didn't they? They're already moving these things back. They're already at the forefront of fighting degeneracy. They are also the ones who are at the charitable forefront of helping those same veterans who are blowing their heads off when the government doesn't even pay any attention to them. When by the time the government was all done doing any of these reforms when it came to veterans associations, it was those pesky old traditional churches from Sky Daddy that you hate so much. They were the ones on the forefront who were actually assisting those people and not doing that. Yep. While you asked me this question, Andrew, what can you do right this second for a guy who's going to blow his head off? Well, probably nothing. But neither can you. Of course. But at least we can do something about that not happening to others.
Okay, so that's very easy to accomplish in red states. And red states overwhelmingly were the states that got those things passed. Yeah. They were already going to get it passed without the interaction of these so-called righteous individuals.
That was done at the federal level, now let's state level.
Yeah, through.
I gotta say, you incels in the chat really it is honestly, it's phenomenal to witness your loyalty to this other incel guy. Somebody in the chat says, dude, nobody can take your odd commentary about CGA seriously. You see, the difference is because you think my commentary is odd because you listen to losers, because you're a loser. And I teach you how to be a winner. And so my words of trying to teach you how to be a winner, you're like, what is this foreign language to me? All I've been hearing is victim narrative and how everything is not my fault and everything else is everybody else's fault, and I'm just a little victim in life. That's where you are right now. But that's okay. I understand that you're a loser. However, you are wrong, and you got to listen in order to grow and develop in life. That's what men are supposed to do. You grow and you develop. You heal, you mature, you become a better version of yourself as you age. That's the best part of being a man, right? That being said, until you can calm yourself down and truly internalize these lessons of success, you're just always going to be the guy that gets left behind, gets no girl, gets overlooked for the promotion, gets forgotten behind by the group of friends, all that stuff, okay? You're saying, dude, I'm a winner in this life. If you only knew, if you're a winner, you wouldn't align with this kind of ideology. So again, you guys don't realize how much you snitch on yourselves when you act the way you do in the chat and the words you use. But it's very evident that you're clearly not a winner. Because if you're a winner, where's your girl? Where's your family? Where's all the money? Where's all the success? Tell me your Instagram, right? Tell me your Instagram. Show me. Show me. Yeah, dude, you're being completely disingenuous. Listen to talk. It's just like so fake. I'm going to sign off now. Yeah, I would run away too. Because when I talk to you like that, I challenge you. I get you out of your comfort zone, right? And now this is why you watch shit like Coach Greg Adams. Instead of explaining yourself, you run away. You tell me you're this high value, successful guy. No evidence, nothing, can't see anything, right? Okay, sure. Sure, Mr. High Value Man. But the ultimate indicator of if a guy truly is a winner is he has a woman by his side, which you do not.
Donald Trump. And,
Yeah, the federal level. It doesn't have to do with
California, Nevada. These are all states that you can easily drive to and get it done because they're red.
So why would they have a federal ban? Yeah.
And at that particular point, are we going to get a federal ban?
Yeah,
you believe
we possibly could. Yeah,
possible.
It looks good. It looks
good, but we don't have it today. All right, so we don't. We're not again. We don't have it.
So what you want to do?
More than likely, I'm going to tell you. You said it's possible, and I say more than possible. You're not going to get it. All right. So at that point,
that's what they said about Roe v. Wade, and they were wrong.
They're wrong today. They're wrong possibly. We possibly might get it, but they're not doing it. I can drive to California right now. When there's a woman I can drive, and I can take a woman to Nevada.
Yeah, but it's already increasing the rates. It's already working. Like, what are you talking about? It's already effective.
Yeah,
all it does is just send women to another place.
And it reduces the amount of...
It's working, right? That's like saying, oh, unless we eliminate all crime being eliminated in this area and crime being eliminated in this area means nothing. Actually, it means a lot for the people who are living in crime. Again, he is in his core a loser. Okay? Because no self-respecting, intelligent man who's actually been a boss in his life too is going to tell an army of guys to go out there and pay for pussy. It's just not. You think Andrew Tate would have gotten to his level of fame and success and global superstardom if he was preaching the same weak bullshit message that Coach Greg Adams is pushing? Oh, just get out there and just prostitute Max, bro.
Is it? So now we're not. That's all we're talking about. Reducing it. We're talking about now the unsettling experiences.
So do nothing.
We're doing something.
Yeah.
Doing something. I'm informing people. I'm informing people. I'm giving people the information.
To do what?
And you're telling me
what do you want
a guy's solution that might take
Tell me
forever.
what men should do.
I'm telling you what they're doing. All right. At this particular point, this is the question that you've been wanting to ask me. All right. I put out a book called 52 Things That Men Should Do Prior to Considering Marriage.
Okay.
What it does is take it through a step-by-step approach of what they need to look out for just to detect.
What is that?
Hold on for a second. Just to detect this man's considering. I've had plenty of men that said they were considering marriage. They found the red flags because of my book, and they stopped getting married to a woman that eventually they saw would have been bad for them. That would have cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars. So I'm doing something very positive.
Okay, it wouldn't have costed them hundreds of thousands of dollars. First of all, you're fucking reaching gigantically there because most people don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars to lose. So first things first. Again, you see, are you noticing a pattern here? He's constantly making things up and mischaracterizing things to make him look good and everybody else looks bad, which just shows you that the guy just really is not a man of substance.
Now watch this. You mitigate the red flags. You allow men to understand what the process of marriage is.
Mitigating the risk.
Then you're going into possibly telling them what the state is involved in, how your children are affected, parental alienation, the odds of self-deletion, and so forth and so on. So that's an
I want to make sure I got this right.
Opportunity for men to learn.
So I want to get this right.
You're telling me there's not a possibility of changing laws.
So what you're doing,
women outvote men 60 to 40%.
Yeah. So you wrote it doesn't, dude. You don't even understand the political process and how it works. Voting itself, when you're talking about
lobby groups,
you're talking about lobby groups.
What men lobby groups? What male lobby groups do they have?
Traditional churches.
Okay, we're back to church again.
They're the ones who do all the lobbying on behalf of men.
They're doing it on behalf of the men that follow them. That's not.
It's for all men. This abortion ban helps all men. It's not some. Their charities to men who are going to kill themselves helps all men, not some.
It doesn't help all men in that situation.
Yes, it helps.
Because listen,
yes, it does.
I'll tell you where it doesn't. There might be a woman considering getting an abortion, and he wants to keep the kid. He has no mitigating risk.
They're the only ones trying to change that.
Exactly. Who is?
The traditional
You're
churches.
saying the traditional churches.
Yes.
All right. At that point, that doesn't help him.
Yes, it does help him.
So you're saying at that point, it's only the traditional church when you have hundreds of female lobbyist groups and you have them out.
They're the ones combating those female lobbying groups.
Yes. That's it. How are they doing? Only the red
They're doing great.
Only the red
No, at the federal level, they're doing great. You're wrong.
You can still go to other.
You see, exactly. Like, Coach Greg is fighting to lose. He wants everything to be bad, and he's denying reality. He's denying the facts here. He is completely denying the facts. He's completely denying reality, and he's completely in just total denial of a lot of things. And the fact that he thinks that women are these boogeymen that you should be afraid of. The only reason those women act like that is because of people like Greg who pay them money to fuck them. If every guy was like, fuck this bitch, I'm not paying you a fucking dime, ho, because that's exactly what you are. These bitches would be getting their act together overnight. Overnight, they'd be getting their act together.
states to get it done.
Yes, but we've still managed to mitigate it even in those states. It's a war. It's a political war. That's how it works. And not only that, let's point this out. Your whole solution here, I wrote a book to help mitigate future events. Oh, great. Andrew, what are you trying to do? Help mitigate future events.
Exactly.
Oh, right now, right this second, what can I do to help? Andrew says right this second, if a guy has a 357 in his mouth, he's going to pull the trigger, can't do anything. You're totally right, but neither can you by your own admission.
Correct.
So there we go there. When we're looking at the future, though, and I say, let's do all of these different prescriptions, which we can actually politically accomplish and move towards, you say, that's all fucking pie in the sky, blah, 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 blah. I ask, well, what can you do as far as future prescriptions? You say, blacks are fucked, and I have absolutely no prescriptions for it.
No, actually, I wrote a book, 52 things that men could consider
to mitigate divorce risk. The same thing I'm trying to do.
If they're marrying the right woman. So you're just mad that I have one solution, you have another, and we don't agree.
Mine's better.
That's what you believe. I think yours is pie in the sky. So that's just.
I don't see how it can be pie in the sky. It's affecting way more men than your book is.
No, my book actually has 15,000+. You have how many? Hold on. You have how many ecclesiastic marriages that your church pastor is going to go into the bedroom and enforce marriages? That you can't even.
Nobody ever proposed that.
And again, the fact that he just keeps saying that the pastor is going to go into the bedroom and enforce the marriage and all this shit. Like, dude, you're like who? Anybody who is intellectually honest would see this fucking guy chimping out so hard with lies and deception. Like, this guy is just really a fucking piece of shit. Greg Adams really is a piece of shit person. He could talk about his books and all this stuff. So he's a piece of shit or he's just a low IQ monkey. But either way, both are not good options here. Like, I can't even believe he's like publicly acting like this. It's kind of crazy.
Such a liar. You just said such a liar.
You said that.
Nobody said that the pastors are going to go in the bedroom and enforce anything.
Okay, social pressure.
Stop lying.
All your social pressure.
Stop lying, dude.
Where's your social pressure? How many people do you have in your ecclesiastic marriages? How many people got married under that?
Millions.
Please give me a number.
Millions of people have an ecclesiastical authority.
That's way to type it up.
People have an ecclesiastical marriage. They may have a state cert also.
Under your scenario.
What do you want me to type?
We don't.
How many?
We don't know.
We don't know exactly. But you're sneezing at my number, but you don't know at all.
We know for sure.
Listen, there's a lot you don't
even
know.
if it was the case that you never adopted the state,
but you don't have any number.
Even if it's the case, hang on.
What's the number?
Hang on. Even if it's the case that all they ever did was get a state marriage certificate, never even followed that portion of what I'm saying, right? The number is still lower by the state's own numbers. It's still lower.
Can you give me a number of your marriages that you're proposing that we're all going to follow?
We don't know. We don't have polls.
You don't have a number.
Yeah, we don't know for sure.
I would venture to say it's very little, under 100.
Sure.
All right. So now we got.
No, it's not under 100.
Okay, certainly under 100.
No, it's not.
All right. I don't hear anybody talking about it other than you.
Yeah. Well, that's because you're not around.
What a dumbass. He's saying it's only 100 people in America that have a traditional no church involved marriage. That shit's like the fucking fastest growing marriage demographic. I just can't believe people like this exist.
Traditional churches by your own admission. But yeah, there's people who have crowning ceremonies and get married by churches who don't get a state cert.
Traditional churches.
In fact, there might be data on that. You should look.
Please look it up.
There might
be under your scenario.
Yeah, under my scenario. But the thing is that even if we were
so we got 125
even if we were to grant it,
yes,
still from the state's own admission, the divorce rate's still significantly lower for a reason.
20 to 30%. Okay,
so that's huge.
It is nice.
Significantly
It would be nice. You still have men under unsettling divorce conditions. You still have men under state-funded divorce. You still have men under child support. You still have men under parental alienation. You still have sexless marriages.
2 out of 10.
You haven't accomplished most of these.
2 out of 10.
2 out of 10 what?
That would be 2 out of 10. It's 20%, right? It's 2 out of 10 of those marriages, as opposed to your system.
4 out of 10.
Yeah, in your
5 out of 10.
In your system, it's much higher.
It's the system that exists.
No, it's not.
But you're telling me 150 marriages. This is all of these scenarios. And I have to be honest with you. This wasn't much of a debate.
Yeah, I know.
Listen, much of your scenarios were make believe. To be honest, they were pretty make believe. You would have to have an extremely considerable movement to be able to accomplish them. Like millions of people. You would have to have millions of people to do.
Can you pull out how many Catholic and Orthodox are in the United States? It's my turn to ask. I can ask him.
Please do. But that's not the number.
How many? Yeah, it is the number we're looking for.
Yeah, Jose Garcia is 100% right in the chat. He says CGA is really low IQ. I mean, this guy is just like a real fucking dumb fucking moron of a person. I didn't realize he was that fucking stupid, but holy shit. You know, that's crazy. That I can't even, I'm like still shocked.
For ecclesiastic marriages under your scenario.
No, listen, even if it were the
way it works,
even if it were the case, do you agree with me that if you take the state out of marriage, that is going to assist in the reduction of divorce?
You can't take the state out of marriage.
Why not?
That's what you're telling me.
Yeah, why can't you?
How many people have done it?
Yeah, but why can't you do it?
Because no fault.
He literally just said you can get married without the fucking state, And then Coach Greg Adams says, "You've never said that." Like, am I the only one paying attention here and witnessing this shit?
Divorce, a woman can go into divorce you, even if, because you're not under her control.
How? If you're not married to her? By the state, you're not married. How can she take you to divorce court? Can you explain that to me?
I asked you this earlier. Have you been through a divorce?
It doesn't matter.
You see, he can't answer the question. There cannot be a divorce through the state if you don't get married through the state. He has no solution. Checkmate. Checkmate. And when he gets checkmates, what does he do? He lies, he manipulates, and he chimps out to the 10th degree. Chimp out incoming.
Answer the question.
That's a yes. So you've been through a divorce.
Why does that matter?
Right,
what is pertinent to the
because
debate?
this is why. Can I finish? You've been telling me I'm cutting you off. You won't let me finish.
Bro, I want an answer to my question.
There we go again.
Can you answer my question?
I mean, I can play the game you're playing.
You just won't answer questions.
All right, listen. I mean, I thought you were a tough guy. Listen, under this scenario, a marriage, even if it's ceremonial, religious, it doesn't matter if she files for the divorce. You will still be going in court to fight that.
I don't care. File for divorce if you're not married by the state, dude.
Listen,
can you answer my question?
You're completely missing this. This is what tells me you haven't been through one. Have you talked to a divorce attorney? A woman can file. You have to respond and provide evidence that you were not married. Now, you and your common law, you living with your kids, is going to be difficult. I'm trying to give you some information.
Common law marriage.
Okay.
That's different. In some states, there is no common law marriage. So
that's not common law marriage.
Just answer
Listen,
okay.
California doesn't even have common law, and that exists. It could be ceremonial. You could get married in Fiji. It doesn't matter. As soon as you get back here, if you practice marriage, the whole institution, at that particular point, if she files, you, sir, will have to respond to that suit. If you do, I would hope and pray that the judge, not God, grant you your wish. At that point, your argument fails because you then would have to say, my ecclesiastic reverend on the little house on the prairie granted this marriage, but it doesn't count under the state.
I want to make sure
she can do this, and you have to respond.
Can you help me with this? It's because I am actually confused. So let's say a woman and a man went out to a field and declared themselves
you got
married.
A scenario. Let's say if
a man went out to a field with a woman and declared that they're married.
Correct.
You're saying she can still go to a divorce court and divorce him.
She could file for the divorce.
How?
You have to respond.
Yeah.
You have
what?
to respond.
Yeah. What does that mean though? That doesn't mean
again. I mean, I'm informing you. What does that mean? This is how a lawsuit works.
Okay.
She's a petitioner. Okay. She files. She says, we walked on coals. We went outside. This was a union. I consider it a marriage. Everybody knows and addresses us as a marriage. This is a non-common law states. We receive mail at this place. We've been living under the same roof for this many years. You will have to respond to these allegations. Now you're going to have to say on your petition, this is not true. We have an ecclesiastic marriage and a prenup under God, and we live together, but we weren't married. That's a response to the lawsuit, and then you proceed to trial and hearing.
Is this a lawsuit or a divorce?
Divorce is a lawsuit.
Okay, so
divorce is a lawsuit.
Can you look this up?
Okay, I'm just going to pull it up because I'm so tired of Greg chimping out, being a dumbass. Okay, I put this here in ChatGPT. And as I said, if you never married a woman legally and did not include the state in the marriage, can she go to the state and file for divorce? I'll answer generally because divorce law is state specific. The key issue is whether the state recognizes a legal marriage, not whether you personally included the state. So it said to me, usually no. A court can grant a divorce only if there was a legally recognized marriage. Divorce means legal dissolution of a marriage by a court. Okay? She can still file paperwork. Filing does not prove she is married. It only starts a case. You would respond saying there was no valid marriage, and the court would have to decide that. And for her to start doing this process, this is going to cost thousands of dollars. Thousands of dollars. And if she has that kind of money to waste, that's pretty rare in itself. Okay? No legal marriage equals no divorce. Okay? And then religious private vows alone usually do not equal state marriage. A private spiritual marriage, promise, ceremony, or relationship label usually does not create civil marriage unless the state's legal requirements are met. Okay? But yeah, she could file, but it doesn't mean that it's a surefire win like Coach 5'4" Adams here is trying to preach that it is. Which was we've been saying since the beginning. It's the one thing he's harping on, proving once again he's just a low IQ monkey.
Can you file for divorce without ever getting married?
Oh my goodness, you are slow. You can file a lawsuit for anything.
So then it's
So
not a
anybody
divorce.
can sue you for anything.
Okay,
Okay. So if you go into there and she
So they're just
says-
suing you?
Yes, it's
Okay,
a lawsuit.
that's not a divorce. Come on,
Says-
dude.
It's a lawsuit.
Can we pull this up? Can you file for a divorce without getting married? Divorce is a legal process
Shut
that
up
ends
and
in
take my money.
legally recognized marriage.
If you never obtained a marriage license and your marriage was never registered, summarized according to state law, the courts have no marriage to dissolve. You're full of
Hold on
shit.
for a
You're just
second.
saying
Hold
that they can. Yeah, you're full of shit.
Listen,
they can just
they
sue
have-
you for whatever.
You said they have no marriage to
Yeah,
dissolve.
you're saying that
You
they're
still
just
have
gonna
to
sue you.
No. You still have
Come
to.
on.
You still have to respond to the law.
Yeah, but you don't have to go to the divorce court.
You
dude.
do.
No,
That's
you
where
don't.
file the response.
No,
You still have
that's
to
not
go.
a divorce court.
That is the divorce.
No, it's not. It's a
That
court
is
of.
the divorce
It's the
court. Listen.
circuit court or some shit, not the divorce court.
Listen, this is
You got
this-
caught in 4K.
That's,
You're full of
that's
shit.
GPT. That's
Honestly, he did just get caught in 4K. Wither is called $9.99 super chat. Hearing Coach Pay for It Adams and Richard Pooper debate this is like hearing an atheist in a religious debate. I don't know how the fuck Andrew does it. You nailed it. No one wants this mopping slop. Dude, exactly, bro. Exacto mundo. Exacto mundo. You know what the number one cause of divorce in America is? It's fat women. That's the number one cause of divorce. Because if you have a skinny bitch, right, here in America, she thinks, man, all these fucking pigs everywhere, and I can get high quality return for my skinny hot little vagina. I'm gonna go and raise some hell. But if you actually did research, which Coach Greg Adams doesn't do, just, you know, because if he did, he wouldn't be this little insufferable manlet. But if you look at the countries with the 3 lowest obesity rates in the world, which I know you don't know, I'll inform you. Number 1 is Sri Lanka. Number 2 is Vietnam. Number 3 is Peru. If you look at those 3 countries, they directly correlate with the lowest divorce rate in the world. Sri Lanka, lowest obesity rate. Also, Sri Lanka, lowest divorce rate. Vietnam, second lowest obesity rate. Vietnam, second lowest divorce rate. Peru, second lowest obesity rate. Also, second lowest divorce rate. Because when everybody's a skinny hot bitch, nobody's a skinny hot bitch. But when everybody's a fat bitch and you're a girl and you're just a 6, now you're a 7 because you're not a fat fucking pig. It's that simple, guys. That's really what you talk. You want to talk about the real cause of divorce? It's fat women. But really, like, you can see here how, you know, how Coach Greg Adams is cornered here. I want to see how he talks his way out of this, because this has become more of a character analysis of how Coach Greg Adams is just a very disingenuous guy.
ChatGPT. In this situation here, we can bring a lawyer in to bring out this and say, can she file for a divorce? You're saying what the outcome is. Hold on for a second. You're saying the outcome, they can't legally enforce it. That's what you hope the outcome is. You hope the outcome is. You still have to respond.
All you're saying is that a woman can sue you for anything.
Correct.
Yeah, but that's not the same as filing for divorce
Hold on
through
for a
the
second.
divorce courts,
That's
dude.
where they would file it.
No, they can't. No, they're not filing it in the divorce court.
My gosh. All right. That's where they would file it. In the divorce court.
They would
where
file a
it
lawsuit.
there. No, they would file it in the family court. Trust me. Now, here's
The family court's different,
Hold on for a
though.
second. That's the divorce court.
Wait a second.
Family court is the divorce court.
Wouldn't you have to do that under specific criteria for family court, like a kid's involved or something? You can just
correct. So, in the scenario, hold on for a second.
Dude, that's not the same as divorce proceedings. This is ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Listen. The family court is what people call the divorce court. There's no building that says
I agree
divorce
with
court.
that.
You understand?
Yeah, I agree with that.
So you have a woman with children.
Yeah.
That you say you're not married to. If she files, you still have to go under family court jurisdiction. You still have to respond
because there's children. Yes.
Because there's children. At that point, my point is made. She has filed. They may say the divorce doesn't count. Yeah. But now, how do we deal with these children?
Yeah, but that was
that is a part of marriage. Did you not have children with the woman?
Come on, dude. So if you're not,
that is a part of
so
marriage.
as long as you don't have children, then they can't do that.
Correct. That's what you're saying. But you're saying
no. I'm asking. I'm actually asking.
You're saying they're going to have children, correct?
Yes.
You're going to go to family court.
Yes, you could go to family court.
If
Yes.
she files for the divorce.
Not for divorce. They could go for
If
like
she
motions
files
for
child
support or all sorts of
any
things.
these.
That's not
the family
divorce.
court.
Yeah.
When we talk about what men deal with when they deal with marriage and the result is a divorce, one of the things they deal with is child support, also domestic violence.
All right, so real quick, to prove the manlet wrong yet again, okay? So Coach 5'4" Adams, I just did this for you guys, right? Just so I already know how much lawsuits and shit cost, but I wrote here, how much does it cost to file and retain an attorney to do this, okay? So the filing of the divorce that she doesn't have, and honestly, a judge is gonna look at this shit and be like, wait a minute, bitch, you're not actually legally married with the state, and you're filing for a divorce. 9 times out of 10, the judge is going to throw this shit out. Judges are looking for reasons to throw shit out, guys. All right? And so initial filing is $400, right? And then if she's going to do this on her own, no, she's going to need an attorney. The retainer is going to be somewhere starting between $3,000 and $7,500, and then the average rate right now is about $400 for attorneys. Okay, so that being said, again, Coach Greg Adams you want to talk about the land of make believe? He is reaching so hard with this shit. He is reaching incredibly hard with shit. Okay.
So you have accepted the truth.
Somebody says in Peru, you have to pay your girlfriend alimony for breaking up with her after letting her live with you for 2 years. Do your research, MLD. What are you retarded? I just said it has the third lowest divorce rate in the world. I didn't talk about alimony or letting her live with you. I was talking about something completely different. You guys really need my help, you know? If you get married in the Catholic Church, you'd still have to sign a marriage license and can still get a civil divorce. However, you'd be married in the eyes of God unless you get it annulled. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for your contribution to the chat.
Violence, which falls under the family court. So you cannot be married.
You have a problem here with this.
Listen,
so I agree.
Fall under
I
family
agree that
court.
if you have children, that could go through the family court system. Nobody ever disputed that, though.
So the problem, still dealing with this.
Hang on, but that's the different one. That's different than filing for divorce. You can't file for divorce if you're never married. That's
Now
one.
you're going to jail.
Two,
Yes.
and hang on, two. The second problem here is the reason that men usually lose their custody when it comes to divorce and divorce court is because women plot. They plot escape hatches. So what they do is they go, okay,
of course they do.
Look,
And if your woman's plotting on you, if you have game, you could tell when your woman's upset by her just how she is. If you have intelligence about women dating and relationships. So all these guys are like, oh, I just woke up one day and the kids were gone and she took them to another country. You're a terrible father and you're not keeping a good check on your fucking family. That's the truth. Okay. There you go. No, now here's the thing. When you have kids, that's a different story, right? Then when you have kids involved, the state, it definitely gets involved. But again, stop fucking just putting your dick in anything. Look for the red flags because guys are clueless when it comes to women. The majority of women in relationships and getting all these benefit from men shouldn't be getting them. But the guys are too desperate. Guys are too much of simps and guys have no fucking self-respect. So they'll just take any girl, anytime, any place. That's the truth. Okay.
oh, I'm going to take 2 years and make sure that you're fucking destitute on the way out, and then I'm filing in divorce court.
Correct.
You're going to get hit over the head from when she files for custody. You're actually in a much better position to get custody at that point than if it was the case that you were married through the state, dude. Much better positioned.
We don't know that.
No,
That's-
100% that's the case.
You don't know that. You're guessing. Can you give me some data on that one? Or there's data on that one. Okay, go ahead and look it up. But we don't know that.
Yes,
That's just a
if
guess.
it's the case, hang on. If it's the case,
if you're not
because
legally
that men who fight for custody,
correct,
right?
That's correct.
But they're in a better position to fight for custody if they're not going through the divorce court, if they're only getting motions for child support or
well,
child
actually, I'll tell you something. If you are not married to them, you actually fare a little bit worse. If you're not legally married, that's true. If you're not legally married to, let's just take a baby mom, baby dad situation. Yeah. If he's not legally married to them, they typically fare a little bit worse.
Yes.
In custody cases.
I just said that.
Right, correct.
Yeah.
So at that point, they're still faring worse. If
No,
they're
they're
married,
faring better. Right?
If they're not married.
Yes, they'd be faring better.
No, they would actually fare worse.
How?
Well, ask any guy that's been in court. We can look at this.
We don't need anecdotals here, buddy. We need some facts.
When they are not legally married to a woman, they go through a custody battle.
Yeah.
When they're legally married, they do better getting better custody.
Yes, men get better custody.
When
So that would be a better outcome.
If they're not legally married,
yes,
typically they fare worse getting custody.
Why?
Because they're not married to the woman. This is typically, this depends on jurisdiction.
It's because of the unplanned nature of it.
Correct. Exactly.
But if it's
planned, we don't know.
No, we do know.
The judge doesn't know.
Hang on.
How do they know?
We do.
So now you're saying you're going in there to use we're not legally married, but we're married.
Here's how we can logically, I think I can actually logically demonstrate this, and I think you'll agree. Okay. So the reason that men tend to fare bad in custody disputes and in divorces is because it's unexpected. So usually they're getting hit with it and it's unexpected. Even if it should be expected, because it's unexpected, they have time to plot, they have time to plan, this kind of thing, right?
Violence
so they can hit them with it. Right. That's
normally what happens.
Yeah, that's normally.
You can't mitigate that. Or are you suggesting
you can mitigate? You can mitigate it. Here's how you can mitigate it. If you're in a church, you have
two things. Go ahead.
Yeah, if you have the ecclesiology, the ecclesiastic community, the community actually supports you. when you're going through these problems.
They're not going to be in court with you.
No, they actually help you with funding. They help you with everything.
They're not
Yes.
going to be in court with you. They're not going to be.
They don't need to go to court with you.
So
money is what talks, man, and bullshit walks.
Exactly. I agree with that. That I can agree with.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to fund.
Well,
that
they do all the time.
Listen,
they
right,
assist with
125.
all the
These
time.
small marriages. I would love to see these out. They should do a documentary on them.
They do.
Again, just being a smug little prick. He's saying now the marriages are only 125 people have these kind of marriages in America. You know, this guy is just, again, like, if you're a fan of this guy, you are a fucked up piece of shit person. Really. You don't understand, like, you know, the amount of disrespectful communication this guy has had. G Money, $3 super chat. He's a low IQ monkey that thinks the boogie women will steal his bananas. Yeah, exactly. Johnny Humplick, nice name, $5 super chat. Hey, John, what company would you recommend for getting a hair transplant? Need to fix my hairline. Much love. Okay, the number one thing that you got to make sure when you're doing your hair transplant, make sure it's an actual doctor doing the transplant, not a technician. And make sure you see before and afters of guys like a couple months later, because everybody thinks I need a lot of grafts. Because I got my hair transplant in August of 2022. Look at this bitch. It's holding up better than Myron's. Look. Look at that. Come on. Look at that, baby. Richard Cooper is rolling in his Audi right now. Yeah. I love this. This is the best. How much was it? I think this was like $5,000, $6,500 in Turkey. I went to Turkey to Hair of Istanbul. And the reason I went to Hair of Istanbul is because when you arrive, they pick you up in a Mercedes. They take you to the hotel. The hotel is covered. The car ride is covered. They then take you to the clinic for the initial consultation. And then they also provide you food. I was there with the woman who was helping me. She was, I brought a girl from Japan. It was Miss MLD. And they bring you food. They give you a really nice place. And then they do the procedure. So that is what I would recommend. Okay. Anyways, let's continue.
All right. So we can see,
we do have stats on this.
Most people aren't under these. So we can say that's clearly the case. But in those situations here, under those situations, you have men that are not under this veil of, I don't know what it is. Okay. That do fare worse when they're not married. Okay, that's typically what's going to happen.
Because the childbirth itself is unplanned. But if they're with a woman long term as a partner, they actually do better.
And I was
even
one of
if they're
those,
not
and I was
married.
one of those.
Even if they're not married,
Typically,
yes.
That's. But
So
sometimes
it's still
not
better
the
outcomes.
situation.
You're just talking about the unplanned nature.
Not necessarily. I mean, they're having because there's a lot of factors here. I mean, we can make things black or white. The guy doesn't have the ability to maintain the custody. He lives in another city.
Because
there's so many other factors.
Because it's unplanned. I knocked her up. That's different than I was with her for a couple of years.
They were in a relationship. All right.
Yeah, but knocking her up usually happens early.
It could. It typically does.
It typically
does. And at that point, now they were raising the kid for 2 or 3 years. They were together.
But this goes
and
to
then
my
it happens. But it also goes to my point. In this situation here, right here, we have a lot of things that we like to make black or white and easily sell.
It's all nuanced. I agree.
Okay, very much nuanced.
Yeah.
At that point, then you're just telling us, oh, I'll just throw this aspect of religion on top of it and it'll fix it. Or it'll mitigate. It'll mitigate. It doesn't eliminate it. It just makes it less. You can't eliminate it. But it makes it less likely, but they're still going to go
even
through it. Once they go through it, what do?
But when you said a marriage was a great institution, right? Did that eliminate all divorce?
It was very low.
Well, right. So it's just, you're only talking about mitigation. You're only talking about mitigation.
It was actually lower than the percentages that you're showing me. Way lower.
I agree.
Way lower.
But you're still talking about mitigation.
But we're also talking about white people were least likely to get married under these scenarios too.
Yeah, but we're still talking about mitigation.
Exactly.
And so you say it's great and it's mitigating, and I say, okay, I want to move towards mitigation. We can never eliminate it. You can't hold that against me.
I can't, and you can't hold it against me for telling men to avoid the situation, especially since, and I'll add this on, especially since we can know statistically women are getting married at an older age. That is increasingly high. We can look at 40 years ago, it was 20 years old. We can look at today, it's roughly around 28 and 30.
But there's some nuance there too.
There's a lot of nuance.
Well, hang on.
Hold on for a second, but I was completing the point here. Okay. At that point, you're seeing a lot of women choosing to not marry. You're also seeing a lot of men choosing to not.
No. God, this guy needs a fact checker with him at all times. Women are not the ones choosing to not get married. Men are choosing not to marry the women. That's what the real factual matter of this situation is.
not marry those women that are older. Yeah. So how do you get those people to have an ecclesiastic marriage? I'll help you. When you're telling them, these people are saying, I'm not marrying that woman. Yep. She's a stepmom, or so no, she's a single mom. Yep, she's older. Yep. She's past her prime. How are you getting that marriage rate up?
This is the best. So I think that that's a great question. It's one
other than saying that they got to be virgins.
And it's one that I need, and it's one that I do need to answer to. So here's the answer to this. The reason that women are getting married older is because they're deferring their childbearing years for college. That's why.
That's obvious. Okay.
I mean, literally, that's the only reason. And one of the prime reasons that the birth rate is collapsing is because they're having children older, because they defer those childbearing years.
Like I said, later, not fruitful and multiply. Just adding.
So we can look at this, and we can. Well, it is still multiplying.
Yeah.
The point is when we're talking about
it is still multiplying. Like, he's just trying so hard to be cute, and it's really funny to see how much of a dumbass this guy really is, because this guy is clearly just an insufferable little manlet he is very hurt. Like, you want to talk about the age-old question, who hurt you? Who hurt Greg Adams? That woman did a number on him.
Go back to this whole propaganda thing, right?
You're not going to get a disagreement on this.
Hang on. The idea is, should we have propaganda that says, women, you go to school, we'll give you student loans, right? We'll back the entire thing for free, and we promise you a lucrative STEM career, right? When the opposition is actually true. Right. Or do we run campaigns that say, no STEM funding, you got to pay for your own fucking college, okay? Or you can choose the more traditional path.
How likely is this to happen?
It's actually pretty likely. If you look at the idea of STEM fund or funding for college, right? The idea of student loans and things like this, women are already trying to check out in the worst way because they can't have kids later in life.
But they're not getting married, though.
They do. They just do that. They do college first. And this is, by the way, where the body count comes from. The big body counts are coming because they spend all this time in college getting fucked.
Very obviously.
This is obvious. Yes. And then afterwards, right, they get their little lucrative career, and then they want to settle down.
They find
But it seems to me very obvious that if you wanted to do something about this, you would want to create the incentive for women to not go to college and instead use their childbearing years to get married, because that's what we always did.
I've actually created this scenario before, and it's very opposed to where society's going. Society really not showing that they're showing trends of this. You might have those little spatters here and there, but if you have a woman that says, okay, I can't afford to go to college, she becomes a Walmart clerk. Hold on for a second. She becomes a Walmart clerk, an assistant manager. I'm looking at those particular demographics. They're not jumping into marriages. All right, maybe in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, they're still out here hoe-hopping. All right, they're still finding a variety.
But here's why. So women are getting more college degrees than men because men have a viable option for making income, which is easy. Correct. I mean, it's actually harder, but it's easy for them.
We can survive.
And the idea is, if you're a tradesman, you're gonna make a lot of money. Okay, especially in modernity, because there's an incompetency crisis in the United States.
Absolutely.
So if you're good at what you do, you're gonna make a lot of money. And that's just it.
Women are less.
And even if you're bad at it, you'll make a lot of money. But the college thing created a situation we were not aware was going to happen, even though I could easily have predicted it, which is oversaturation. Women only go for a couple things, and they're sociological related mostly. They're not really for STEM fields, and that's who's hiring is the big STEM fields. Everything else oversaturated. That's why women end up in government NGOs and government think tanks and psychologists, because the overage has to go somewhere. But that's saturated too. So you're seeing actually a trend begin to emerge of that trending down because of oversaturation. So if that's the case, these women don't want to go work at Walmart as the assistant manager, right? And if you had said propaganda plan, and the propaganda plan is simple enough, the idea here is just don't defer your childbearing years for college. Instead, we'll help you with incentives so that you have children younger and you get married younger. You will almost eliminate this entire problem. And yes, not only is it viable, but we should be moving towards that. This idea that you should get married rather than just create the conditions for which marriage is great is exactly what we should be doing.
And under those conditions, it would make sense because you're getting women that can multiply, that can.
But it's only the churches that can get this done.
Not really. But in this situation here, I agree. I agree with that scenario. I proposed that many years ago. However, you're going to be hard pressed for women to actually pick that. Although they're not going to college, they're trending down in college. They're probably not going to complete one of these liberal arts degrees. What you're probably going to see them do, they're still going to Coachella. They're still selling coochie. They're out here being sugar babies. They're going to.
They're selling coochie because guys like you are buying it, you fucking dumbass.
Uh-oh, retard alert.
Jesus fucking Christ. I can't believe how lacking of self-awareness this guy is. That is hilarious.
Fans.
Same problem with oversaturation.
Yeah, exactly. So it'll get oversaturated. Now you kick the can down the road to what the next thing is. I don't see the women seeing that college is prohibitive to them jumping into traditional marriages. I don't see that.
But that was the same argument which made in the 90s to men, that they would not see that the trades were going by the wayside and they all needed to get a college degree, when in fact the opposite ended up happening. Now they're all moving towards trades in lieu of the college degree because of oversaturation. Right. There's no reason for us to believe that if it's the case that women have the option and the propaganda behind it for them to get married at a younger age, right? Defer that with incentives. We can give all sorts of incentives for this.
Would you give?
Oh man, first of all, you can give tax exemptions, for instance. You could say
these women don't pay taxes even when they make millions.
Yeah, but the thing is,
they don't catch up to them, but they don't pay the taxes.
They do have to pay property tax on the houses they get from their husbands when they divorce them. So
if they married, then
the thing is what you could do is in Poland did this, and they
He's trying so hard to paint women as the boogeyman. Women don't pay taxes. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Women don't pay no taxes. What are you talking about?
had a pretty good degree of success, up almost 0.5%, moving and trending towards almost 1%, which is huge in such a short amount of time. They gave tax exemption, and you can pull this up if you want. They gave tax exemption if you had more than X number of children. I think it was 3 for life. Tax exempt for life. Yes. Now, the thing is that's huge. Now, from a woman's perspective, why would a woman go for that? Because she's tax exempt for life too. And the thing is, it's the same reason they're going to college, which is they want the money. The same reason they're selling their pussy online, because I want the money, is also a thing which you can incentivize them to do the other direction.
You could.
Because they want the money.
It sounds nice, but...
And it's worked. It's worked.
It's worked in Poland.
Yeah. Well, in the places it's been tried, the incentives work.
Is that a...
It's also, I think it's in Hungary. If you have 4 children, you are tax-free for life as well. There's a couple of countries where it's actually working, and the fertility crisis is actually way worse in other countries, and the countries are actively using successful means to turn this thing around. For example, Korea, places like Japan, you get money from the government if you have a kid in Japan. You get help with the child care. In Korea, they set you up with you get I think it's like an interest-free loan to get an apartment too. If you're a newly married couple, plus I think something like $20,000 or $30,000. Okay, so that being said, and Katavarine, I apologize to you. I thought you were talking to me, because I know I'm right about my obesity statistics when it comes to Peru. So Katavarine F3Z, this one's for you.
I'm stupid. You're smart. I was wrong, you were right. You're the best, I'm the worst. You're very good looking, I'm not attractive.
All right. As long as you're willing to admit that now. Are you ready to get down to business and do exactly what I tell you to do?
Let's go. Successful people follow God, who has been around forever. They don't go by the world, which is waning worse and worse, coach. That's very true, Gab. Is your name Gabby, Gabriella, Gabriel? Is your name just Gab? I'll call you Gab.
Comparable nation to the United States.
I'm going to be real. They both lost this debate. Forever Alone or Theocracy, pass on both. You guys, I feel sorry for you guys. So you'd rather just be an incel? Is that what we're talking about? I mean, mate, like, that's just like insane that that's the logic that you came to. But I get it. A lot of you guys are lost. You look like you're in your late 40s. You're lost too. It's okay. I can help you, by the way, if you need help. I can help you, the Powdered Dusty. I too will help you actually get, a good woman in your life, because it doesn't sound like you have one.
It highly depends on women being taxed.
Well, so did Poland.
It's not the same size.
Well, I mean,
we were a very large company. We're a very large country.
But it's all scalable, right?
It could be scalable.
It's all scalable. The thing
That's kind of like when people say Sweden did this, and about 1 million people versus
but what I'm saying is,
people. I understand.
We're going to look at the...
Okay, so India, divorce rate 1%, and that's highly because the families are involved, and, they're all about longevity and religion there. Where's Greg Adams going to go with that one?
Models where they exist, to see how they compare.
Yeah,
and it's a better model.
Yes, it's a good model. It would be a good start.
It's a start.
It would be a good
something.
Kid, you think people would probably try to manipulate that? You said they have 3 kids from the same dad or from different.
You have to be married.
You would have to be married. Mm-hmm. Okay, so this would be a nice opportunity for us to bring something that Poland has tried to a place where we don't have that same structure. They're somewhat democratic socialists, or somewhat
not at all. They're very conservative.
They're conservative.
Yeah, they're not democratic socialists at all. What is this fucking moron even saying? Do you see the fucking armed guards at the fucking border of Poland shooting and killing people trying to come over the border? What is this fucking... I need the stupid monkey Frieza soundbite. I'm going to download it right now.
But yeah, they have that, but they're also...
No, they're very capitalist.
Okay. Yeah. So, but typically we're a lot more capitalist than them.
I don't know.
We're a lot more capitalist in Poland.
Like Eastern Europe has become very, very based. Eastern Europe has become...
All right, but we can probably say 200, 350 million people versus Poland size.
It's much smaller, yes.
12 million.
But that's what scalability is for.
I mean, this would be the size, not even half of California at this particular point. But
scalability works that way because
it's good.
It's 38 million in Poland.
38 million, quite more than I thought. That would be the state of California. And plus Oregon maybe or something like that.
Well, and California is bigger than a lot of countries.
It is.
That's the case.
5th largest
Yeah.
GDP.
Yeah.
So in this scenario, I'll give you that one. It's a little bit of a reach, but I'll give it
Not
to
just
you.
that. If we look at the Chinese model really fucked this up. They decided that they were going to do the one-child policy. Remember that?
And they screwed that up.
Well, not only did they screw it up, but they have almost given themselves imminent doom because their birth rate has dropped down so low. Now, what are they doing? They're giving incentives for women to have children.
Exactly.
Now, we do it here too, to a limited degree, with tax credits, right? But the tax credits, you're not going to incentivize a woman who can sell her pussy on OnlyFans to have a child for $3,000 a year.
And sometimes they even go on EBT and WIC, and they still use the system. So you're still finding ways where people will manipulate the system. And
that's the whole point.
That are
Trying to get rid of that, right?
We would try to get rid of it. It would be a nice try. I'll give you that one. That might be a
No, it's possible, and more than possible, and it's better than the idea of just continual degeneracy.
Well, I'm not promoting degeneracy. However,
sex outside of marriage.
Well, who's that degenerate to? I mean, that's your
Right.
your Bible.
So
I mean, most of your Christians, your traditional. Hold on for a second. Most of your traditional Christian women that are getting married to these simps are blindsided, typically by.
Maybe God guided me here to help the unmarried relationship coach find a wife. Oh, I see. You're one of those guys, eh? How do you know I'm not married? "30 seconds on the clock there, Dusty." I'll just skip straight to the spoiler alert. You lose. But I do respect you for being negative in the chat.
Women that were promiscuous.
Sounds
right?
like
so
sex
that
out of
sounds
marriage
like normal.
is sounds like sex out of marriage is bad.
It sounds like it's really bad, but
Yeah.
those are your women you're trying to marry, not the virgins that we're going to have.
I think that this is mitigated by you being a secularist versus a Christian. Give me a break.
I mean, you're not going to mitigate women throwing their pussy around the internet.
Yeah.
You can hardly mitigate that. I mean, you haven't done anything at this particular point. They're busting.
You could mitigate it by being a good father. That's obviously one of the fucking things. You know, instead of further producing more degenerate whores through your life model, which I know you like degenerate whores because that's your reason for, like, you know, having sex, right? That's your thing. So I understand. You're wearing 2 rings and neither of them on your wedding finger. You are a smart guy. You paying attention to me, Dusty? Dusty, I think you got a crush on me. That's a little gay. But even if I were to get married, I would never wear a wedding ring either. Come on, buddy. Get with the program there, sister. Come on. Are Scandinavian worth marrying? It's not about a group of women. It's about the individual, because there are Scandinavian good girls. There are Scandinavian whores. It is up to you to develop game so you can differentiate between the good ones and the ones that are just pump and dump. It's very simple.
They're wide open on OnlyFans.
Yeah, we can put outlaw
those are church
OnlyFans.
women.
He can outlaw OnlyFans.
I mean, every one of your scenarios is a big major swing at they're not happening. All right, it's not happening.
Actually, OnlyFans is banned in China. So what are you even talking about? OnlyFans is actively banned in China.
Did you know that the people versus Larry, the people versus Larry Flint was not long ago when the normalization of it used to be outlawed. Okay, it used to be outlawed all over the United States, and guess what? The effects that it had on the psychology of men and the effects it had on marriage were negligible. You could still get it to some degree underground,
right?
But it was tough and it was illegal. Why do you think?
And people still went to the.
Why do you
they
think
went to that? They, I don't know if you remember this if you're old enough. They still went to that VHS area or the area of the magazine.
That was after Larry Flint.
All right, but that was a result. That was kind of
that was after they legalized it. Before they legalized it, those sections didn't exist.
Exactly. So now it's wide open. It's an open.
Yeah. So we need to eliminate it. Yes,
we didn't eliminate Playboy and Penthouse.
That's after Larry Flint. Larry Flint was Penthouse.
I understand that, but it's still here. I mean,
yeah, he won the case.
Correct.
But
so
we're
how you going to beat OnlyFans?
We're unwinding and have been unwinding. That's what Roe v. Wade was. The idea of Roe v. Wade was
by the time
unwind.
you beat OnlyFans, the damage is done. I'm gonna just let you know.
Yeah, you know what?
Right, the damage is pretty much done. That would take 30 or 40 years.
Okay, well, after a war, the damage is done. It might take 30 or 40 years. But
again, like, you know, he's just so desperate to be wrong. He's like so desperate for things to be bad. And like I said, it's going to take 30, 40 years to fucking, you know, fix this shit. Like, no, China just banned OnlyFans like a year ago. And OnlyFans started in, 2020. So And then, you know, when they talk about like, you know, people like Larry Flint and stuff like that, you know, this degeneracy, this, quite frankly, straying from God has fucked everything up for everybody. We're not in a better fucking, you know, we're not in a fucking circumstance where like things are better. You know what I mean? So, you know, that being said, just to even look around and be like, yeah, everything's better since we've strayed from God. Oh, okay. Alrighty then. This guy, Dusty, you still going? Or is it because nobody watches your YouTube channel? You got to come over here and try to get some clout in mine? Hair plugs also seems like a pretty stereotypical single middle-aged guy move. I actually got him in 2022. 2022 is when I got my hair transplant. And in 2022, how old was I? I was turning 37. I was 36, right? You know what else is a pretty good, you know, middle-aged move? It's scoring a $100,000 Rolex, Dusty. I'm sure you have one of those. Holler at your boy. Send it to me in DM. I want to see what you got. If your wife lets you.
But you know what the thing is we don't quit because it might take some time.
I didn't ask you to quit. What I'm asking you is, you're trying to solve the problem today of getting traditional.
Both.
Traditional.
Today, tomorrow.
I understand that. Tomorrow will be a better day. But at this point, you're looking at traditional conservative women that have thrown their punanis out. Sure. Some of them are single moms.
Well, they're not traditional.
But yeah, they're not. But this exists. And unfortunately, the traditional conservative movement or
and it's full of feminists.
These women, these women come in as feminists, liberals, and they cosplay, trick these men into marriages, say that they're going to marry them, not in the secular, and then they follow you, and then they run right back to the court. Now, this does happen quite a bit, even in the Christian church.
Not from us.
Well, I don't know how many you are. We still haven't determined.
But it's funny.
This still happens, so a lot of men get caught off guard because they see her thumping the Bible. Oh, she's one of us. And these women have figured out how to cosplay.
And again, I think this is a...
And again, no, I'm going to jump in here. The real problem is the guys not having social intelligence to truly identify, is the woman a good woman or not? Because somebody can only keep the delusion and the lie and the scam going for so long. Because the only thing that keeps a lie going is more lies. And eventually the mask is going to slip. But if you're not looking for it, then you're a dumbass. The problem here, we want to blame women, blame women, blame women, blame women. It's all on men. Men are fucking men are fucking simping, right? Men are the ones paying for pussy. Men are the ones paying for OnlyFans, right? Men are the ones facilitating all of this filth. When you see a woman with a bad attitude, publicly acting like a goddamn fool, that's because no man has checked her and been like, hey, bitch, what the fuck are you doing acting like that? We are a civilized society. So we could sit here and cry like a bunch of fucking pussies, or we can take accountability. Because if everybody wants to talk about the 1950s, 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 the reality is very simple. In the 1950s, men were way stronger in their hearts, way stronger with their frame, way stronger with their intelligence. You know, now forget about it. These guys are like simps by default, right?
Good question, right? Notice I've answered all of yours. You haven't answered any of mine. But the thing is,
I answer.
Yeah, can I ask a couple?
Go ahead.
Okay, great. So the progressive mantra is that sexual liberation, this is what feminism was based around, sexual liberation. That was the big one.
Correct.
That their bodies were being controlled, not just from abortion, but from who they chose to have sex with because they were attracted to them, this and that. Marriage was a complete trap for women. It was self-destructive to them, this and that. What is the distinction in your message in that one to men?
What's my message?
Well, it seems to me that your message is that marriage is simply too dangerous and that if you want to sleep with women outside of it, perfectly fine. And it's actually liberating for you because you're moving away from the trappings of marriage itself. And hang on. Yeah. That seemed like the same exact message that we got in the 70s from feminists.
If you frame it that way, it would be. But
so you're a feminist?
Hold on for a second. It would be two different outcomes. You're protecting wealth, access to children. You're actually being able to control who has your children.
That's what they wanted.
Exactly. Well, no, they want to be able to kill their children and abort them.
They want to be able to determine.
We're trying to figure out where we have the control legally. They're having the control over their body. These are two different.
But these are two different outcomes. So what's the delineating factor
men are trying to figure
from a 1970s feminist to your messaging right now? What is the difference?
They're trying to control their bodies.
So are you.
I'm trying to control legally financially. These are two different things.
Those are your body
outcomes.
You're controlling your
No,
bodies.
don't just make it a body.
It's the same thing.
It's financial. These aren't not my
That's
body.
the same arguments they made. It's
Listen,
financial.
No, you're trying to make it the same. I
It
know
is
you're trying
the
to.
same.
No, you're trying to cram that in. No, finances is your body. I'm trying to control the legal outcomes.
So were
related
they.
to that? Related to finances, not related to me being liberated and sleep with who I want to. The first goal was to control what happens to me financially. It was never the goal for men to avoid marriage, to sleep around. That's the feminist goal. Those are two different things.
They make the same claim. They make the same claim. Their claim is
was financial.
We're not telling women that they need to go sleep
Those
around.
are two different.
We're not telling women they need to go sleep around. We're just telling them they can if they want to. Isn't that the same as your message?
If they want to, some men don't sleep around.
Yeah,
some men don't sleep around.
It's just feminine.
Men don't sleep around because they lack the ability to sleep around, because all men want to do is sleep around.
That's for men, dude.
No, that's what you want to call
There's
it.
no
And that's-
prescriptions. It's just feminism for men.
How's that not a prescription? I get to control
It is feminism for men. That's all fucking Coach Greg Adams is doing here, bro.
who I'm with. I get to control where the law is, and I hold on for a second, and I get to control where my finances are, not the state.
Said the feminist.
No, that's not. No, that's not. It's not the.
We don't have a bank account. We can't decide what to vote. We can't decide what to do with our children. We're men's property.
That's a secondary. That's a secondary issue. That is a secondary issue. You try to compare it. You try to compare it, and then say finances is body. I mean, come on.
That's what
you're really trying to. You're really trying to cram this.
They were like, we want credit
narrative.
We want to be able to control our bank accounts. We want to be able to control our
secondary, tertiary issue. We're talking about what you framed it as.
It's the primary issue.
The primary issue for you is finances. It's not to sleep around. That would be two different things. But I'm not maintaining my independence and staying single, so I can sleep around. That's not the primary issue.
I understand.
It is for finances. So those are two different arguments.
No, they're not.
If you want to make it the same for you, go ahead.
Let me give the explanation.
Please.
If every single argument you make, even if you say these ones over here are tangential, but I agree with them, is the same exact argument of the 1970s bra-burning feminist, whether or not
that's what you believe,
whether or not it's the primary goal,
make it work for you.
Man.
Make it work for you.
Even if it's the case, it's not the primary goal, it's a secondary goal. They're still the same goals.
Frame it as the number one
goal. Let me at least make the argument before you respond.
Reach on in there, man.
So the thing is,
dig deep.
Is if you say, hey, man,
dig deep.
This is about financing. It's like, okay, well, you know, the 1970s feminists, we can't have credit.
Greg Adams is just like, what a disrespectful little manlet. I don't think he's ever been punched in the face. That would be a good prescription for him.
Cards. We can't control our bank accounts. We can't control our own financial independence from men. That's what they're fighting for. You want the same thing. Independence from women to control your own finances.
We're talking about promiscuity.
Almost done with the argument, then you can rebut it. Next thing is, when you're talking about promiscuity, sure, sleep with whoever you want, right? It's under your purview because you can do whatever you want with your body. Same exact argument that they were making. They're not the property of men, right? They should have complete sexual liberation, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All of these are the same degenerate structured systems, which led us to where we are currently right this second, except you're just providing them for men instead of women. It's like, can't we at least at some level look at this and say, look, just because these crazy women are doing these insane things, we can actually, as men, do something about this prescriptively without adding the degeneracy. Can't we do that?
Okay, let's go back.
Okay.
There's a such thing as, you might take a medication to solve one issue and you get side effects. You're telling me the side effects equals what the men wanted as to solve the problem to heal. That's the reason they took the medication. Now you're telling me about all these side effects. A side effect of feminism being able to control their body is to also have finances, blah, blah, blah. Same thing with the men. The men didn't intentionally go in there to say, this is for our bodies. What? We went in there to say this is to control our finances. Then as a result of that, there could be some other things that happen as a result.
Yeah, but if the results are the same as feminism,
it's not the same.
What's the difference in
the
results?
outcome? Because at that particular point, the man has controlled his finances. He's outside of the safe system.
That's what the feminists argued for themselves.
That's a completely different reason. You can have
who cares? It's the same fucking outcome.
You can have the same outcome, and it could be for different reasons. All right, you're saying the outcome pretty much says it's a reason. That's not true. You can have two different reasons and have similar outcomes.
So we have the same outcomes for 1970s progressive feminists for men because you intended it to be different.
You wanted to compare. You just simply wanted to compare it as the same.
It is the same.
It's apples and oranges. It's apples and oranges
because you didn't mean it that way. I didn't mean it that way, even though that's the same result.
You framed it that way to fit your narrative. That's your narrative.
It's not my narrative. You just agreed that what I said is true.
I didn't agree with anything.
You did. You just said it's the same comparable.
This is the outcome. If I choose to do something for different outcomes, it's not the same. Just because certain things line up.
It's just
the way you want. And you're cherry picking, by the way, and you're very good at it. You're cherry picking the good things, the bad things, and then you want to reframe traditionalism and call it the traditional church. Well, the traditional church also had the Ku Klux Klan in the 1950s.
No, that was
is that what you want to go?
Protestant church.
Okay, well, it's the church. And at that particular point, you want to go ahead and cherry pick what's good and what's bad.
By the way, they were Democrats.
Great snatch.
Those were Democrats.
Exactly. And of course, they were Democrats. And certainly
not Republicans.
Okay, well, now where are we at? There's going to be Democrats in your church? No Democrats.
Not usually. So there are some divorce.
Of course there will be. So there are going to be people that have
but what does the KKK have to do with anything?
You're snapshotting traditional world that literally you can just pinpoint 10 years. And if I go back 10 years before, it was not existent. You're reaching, you're creating a pie in the sky. And then if I fast forward 15 years later, it don't exist. Now you're trying to bring it back out of the dead like you're Billy Graham. I know that doesn't exist.
What does
There's not the normal traditional church. You're screenshotting things. You're picking out a period of history to say we need to take it back from here. That period was only a small percentage of
trying to give a holistic view. Not just of
you're
the
giving
entire
religious view, not a holistic view.
Well,
it's very religious.
Look, most of history is full of religion.
And a whole bunch of religious people killing people. But go ahead.
Dude, he is so insufferable. It's just a mad, like, you know, he's like, okay, he's saying, because he's doing, he has this like classic liberal outlook on life, which is like, religion's bad. Do you know that the majority of people in humanity who have been killed for religion? If you look at human history, at any culture, at any point, at any time, all we do is murder, rape, and kill each other. Like, that's, you want to talk about human history? It's a lot of murder. It's a lot of rape. That's the truth. So again, like, he's just making no sense. And like I said, I understand why he has a big audience and stuff like that, because he's preaching a message of hopelessness. He's preaching a message of just be a fucking loser. Just go ahead and just take the easy path in life. Don't do anything hard. You know, just get out there and just be careful, because a woman might ruin your life. Like, as like women are just these boogie women. And that's the problem. Guys like him, he doesn't realize he is perpetuating this problem by getting on this podcast and telling these young men to be afraid of fucking women. It's like crazy, you know? And then, yeah, EP in the chat says he just said Andrew is cherry picking, but he just did that with himself and the KKK and its origin. Bro can't debate. He can't debate. Because the guys like him, right, they can't debate because they are living in an echo chamber. He just lives in a fucking little echo chamber, and everything is, you know, oh, women are bad. You know, women are fucking, you know, oh, women are terrible and blah, 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 blah. It's like, dude, I get it, bro. I get it. You're upset because you suck with women. Okay. It's just sad to see. Sad to see.
Go ahead.
That accounts
Keep
for,
it going.
That accounts
all right, a lot of people killing
so that
a lot
accounts
of
to about
and a lot of fornication.
About 4 to 6% of all wars were religiously based.
How much?
4 to 6%. You can look it up.
All right, I don't care what. That doesn't matter. They kill each other at massive rates. All right, listen. Religion is not the
4 to 6%.
You guys, you're trying
degeneracy and feminism for minutes.
I didn't say it was. You didn't have to live degeneracy if you're not religious. That's your world. Again, you always make it fit what you want.
Because it does fit. It is the truth. That's what you guys advocate
You're
for.
only good if you're religious. That's ridiculous. All right, you only make good decisions because you're religious. That's ridiculous. That's what you hope. That's not the case, because a lot of people that are in your church. Hold on for a second.
Why do you say only?
Hold on.
When I talk about outcomes being better,
you just admitted that there are women that are feminists in your church. Of
course.
Okay, so there's your solution there. You're telling me it's always better.
It is always better.
Snapshot. What you're doing is selling men a fantasy of them,
and you're selling them feminism.
I'm not. Well, we can agree to disagree on that. But
you're selling them a fantasy. You're just selling them feminism.
And you're selling them a fantasy.
He's selling them feminism for sure, and it's a fantasy for guys like Greg. You see, Greg is so damaged and he's so bad with women. He doesn't even understand that you can get into a marriage with a good woman and have a loving, faithful, amazing companion by your side. But he is just so damaged and so hurt. Like, this guy wants, he's so mad that he hasn't gotten proper treatment from women that now he's like going scorched earth and trying to tell like all guys, women are bad, while at the same time paying for prostitution.
All right,
a fantasy that I have data to support.
Matter of fact, most people will be dead by the time you get even 1 inch closer to whatever you're proposing. Well, most men will be dead as a doorknob.
Under your proposal, you have assured that black men will be dead. You said so yourself. There's no fixing it. They will be. That's your prescription.
Well, that's the prescription that you heard. What I told black men is to leave that community. The community is not to
Are they doomed or not, like you said?
The black men leave the community, they thrive.
Yeah, I know. Are black men doomed, like you said
the
earlier?
Black men that leave the community, they thrive.
Yeah, I know.
They do very well.
Are black men doomed, like you said earlier?
Under the matriarchy of the black community, yes. Okay. Under the scenario that I'm proposing for black men, absolutely not. They thrive.
But that's in the future. What about right now?
So that's, they're thriving right now under your degeneracy model. All right, they're thriving right now under the degeneracy. Who? Oh, yes, they. Who? You're looking at one right now. You're looking at. Wait a second. So that's who.
So let me get.
You're looking at the notorious one right now. That's who.
The notorious prostitute payer, that's how you win. You won by paying third world prostitutes. Like that's a victory. That's a W right there. This is the W. Getting to the point where all you do is pay for sex. Not having kids, not having a lineage, not being proud of your family and your bloodline. You know, it just shows you he's a peasant. He's a low IQ peasant, right? The number one thing that mattered back in the day was your bloodline. You know, the heir. Who will carry the name of your family? Who will carry all of that? That was the most important thing. We've been reduced to guys like him prostitute maxing.
Want an example?
So men,
give me your numbers.
Yeah, so men,
you didn't give me your numbers the whole damn stream, but you're
what?
telling me
I give you tons.
No, give me your numbers of your ecclesiastic marriage where your pastor on the Little House on the Prairie is going to prevent.
Yeah, we have to move.
Give me them numbers
again.
Okay, you're asking me for
how
mine.
many times do I have to explain this?
Come on, man.
So again, when you're talking about just because they don't have polling data for the United States specifically, we can definitely look at other nations where there's ecclesiastical marriages and the divorce rates. That's one. You can do it right now.
No.
The second is this.
You
even if I grant that just because polling data for that specific thing doesn't exist right this second, the polling data for people who are engaged in state marriage is still lower. That makes my argument much more compelling than yours.
That's all fine and dandy when you're comparing 125 people to millions of people.
No, these are millions of people.
What number?
In the state?
What's the number?
Of what?
That participate.
Of what? Which thing?
I keep asking you this. You never give me.
I've already told you 50 times. There's no polling data.
Exactly. You don't have a number.
But I do have numbers.
It's a fantasy.
Dude.
You've been selling people a fantasy.
Do you realize that?
I love it though. Listen.
You make my point stronger, not worse.
A fantasy?
If it's the case that people are engaged in state marriage right this second and are part of traditional churches and their divorce rate is lower, it has to logically follow that if they were not engaged in state marriage, the divorce rate would be even lower.
You're talking about getting hit over the head.
No. Right there. I'm going to rewind that again because this is just like, this is why you don't argue with stupid people. Like Coach Greg Adams is a pretty fucking dumb guy when it comes to relationship and understanding logic as well. Like the logic here is
30 times.
In state marriage.
Listen,
I do have numbers.
It's a fantasy. You've been selling people a fantasy.
Do you realize that?
I love it though.
You make my point stronger, not worse.
A fantasy?
If it's the case that people are engaged in state marriage right this second and are part of traditional churches and their divorce rate is lower, it has to logically follow that if they were not engaged in state marriage, the divorce rate would be even lower.
You're talking about getting hit over the head 30% to 50%. Okay, that's great.
It's huge. That's huge.
I'll give you that. That's the difference between 150,000 people. Yet you're telling me you have a better solution.
No, it's
mitigate
more than 150,000.
Hold on. You're giving me a mitigating better than that 30%.
That's more than 150,000.
Where's that solution for the better than the 30%? I've been asking for it. You can't tell me how many people that you got under these notorious contracts that don't.
I can logically demonstrate it for you. There's no polling data for it. So what?
Get that number. That would be a great.
When I ask
you can tell the audience. Hold on for a second. You can tell the audience how many people that you're going to prevent from busting out this ecclesiastic contract with your Little House on the Prairie, whatever it is that you're doing. If you could tell your men how many people you have doing it and you prevented them from getting divorced and losing their kids under custody, please tell us.
Yeah, so
otherwise it's a fantasy.
Oh, let's respond again. Do you have the polling data for how many of the black men you've personally helped?
Absolutely.
Okay, let's see it.
Hundreds of thousands right now.
Hundreds of thousands.
Hey, everybody in the chat.
Hundreds of thousands. Kiss my ass, bro. Kiss my ass. What's he talking about? His fucking viewership? He has not spoken to hundreds of thousands of men. I'll tell you that right now. Okay?
Where's the polling data?
We're going to do it right now live.
That's scientific.
Everybody press 1.
That's polling data?
Coach Greg Adams.
That's polling data.
If you follow me.
Hundreds of thousands of people. There's only 50,000 views on this fucking video. Jesus Christ. This guy is so annoying.
For the last,
you don't have hundreds of thousands of people in your chat, dude. Give me a break.
Press 1 if you can see.
Exactly. You don't have hundreds of thousands of people in your chat. Again, all it did, engaging in mischaracterization, engaging in all of this bullshit, just to deflect the fact that here's the bottom line: Coach Greg Adams is a beta male that has to pay for sex. That's the bottom line. He is a beta male that has to pay for sex. That's very simple.
Good work, soldier.
You know, because if that wasn't the case, then he'd be a boss like me. You know what I mean? Shit. Bro, women pay me money, brother. Let me tell you something. Women give me money. I do not need to pay for sex. All right? It cracks me up. Let me read another super chat that just came in. Thank you so much, Mr. G Money. Miserable people like CGA love company. That's why he promotes his message. I just think it's really, he's just like, manlet maxing with his ego and the fact that like he can't get pussy organically. How the fuck can I go to the club and cold approach girls and pull chicks on the reg internationally? How the fuck can I do that? And he wants to sit here and say, oh, it's impossible. It's impossible. It's impossible. Because he has no game. He has no conversation, talking piece, nothing like that. Okay. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. You guys talking about my ring still? You guys are, God, oh my God. What the fuck? What's the legitimate reason a married man would want to keep his marriage's existence private? When you have clout and you're actually known like me and you make millions of dollars, you'll understand liability, but you're still in the middle class. So keep cranking out that content, Dusty. If you want to come on the show, I'll help boost you up. No problem.
Yeah, look. You see that?
Yeah. Where's your polling data?
You don't want to look. Look at this.
Where's the polling data?
Coach gang represent.
Currently 1,872. Yeah, you're going to need a couple 100,000 more to match up with your shit. And you know why all these guys are here supporting him? Because none of these guys are out here having sex and actually the girls have a woman in their life or anything like that.
Do you have scientific polling data?
That's more than your ecclesiastic contract.
Oh,
I can guarantee you that.
Okay. Everyone in the Crucible chat who Andrew Wilson has helped, put one in the chat. That's scientific polling data, says Coach whoever.
I know, you don't want to hear it. I thought you was going to let it happen. Now all of a sudden you don't like the numbers. Come on, Andrew, man.
That's not polling data.
I thought we were better.
That's not polling.
It's not polling data, exactly. You see, he's just like a little fucking manlet. That's all he is, bro. Like, this guy has no substance to him.
Polling data, doofus.
Okay,
what are you talking about?
You gonna call me a doofus? Hey, were you gonna call me a doofus?
Yes, that's doofus shit.
Yo, man, that's crazy because I asked you for a number and I'm the doofus. You can't even give me a number.
I gave you
your hard lady. Wait, where's your army at? What's the name of your group? What's the name of your group?
The Crucible chat.
The Crucible Army. Go ahead and pull them up and tell them how many of them are under your ecclesiastic contract.
And let's make sure we got this straight. How many people are in his live chat right now?
He's got 2,060.
And see how many people are in mine.
Let's go. Pull it up. They should beat me in your ecclesiastic contract. They should floor us in the ecclesiastic contract.
Oh,
4,300.
That's like not even double.
Just one.
All right, we're both doing well.
Just one, please. Just one, please. And now that means I win.
Where they at?
That's scientific polling data.
Oh, and then yeah, is it a surprise that fucking Andrew mogs him in audiences? Nope.
Crickets over there, okay?
Just once. Just
there they go.
All I gotta do is once, and that's scientific data.
There's a couple of twos in there. I want the ecclesiastic contract marriages.
Oh, no. You said, who have I helped?
Oh, wait a minute.
That's different.
No, you ask who, for me, who's followed my prescription.
Yeah.
And just because people watch you, Coach Manlet, because you have less coaching experience than me, I understand. Because if you actually had good coaching experience, you wouldn't be like you. You'd be like me, a winner. A guy that doesn't need to pay prostitutes to get laid. I just can't even believe. Bro, you could really do anything these days. Like, this guy is talking about prostitute maxing, and he has like a giant audience. Like, the world is your oyster these days, man.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not polling data, dude.
I ask you for the ecclesiastic contracts, Andrew. This is very simple.
What part of this? We don't have the polling data, but I can logically demonstrate it. Do you not understand?
You're selling a fantasy.
We do have the numbers.
You're selling a fantasy.
Oh my God, dude. This is
you're
solo tier.
And I think what you need to do is
talking to a fucking wall.
And I hope that all those cancer sticks that you've been smoking will help your ass live long enough to see how far you led men astray. I would love that for you to survive, and I would bless you by the name of God in the Jesus Christ and Latter-day Saints that you survive all them goddamn smokes.
You don't follow Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
All them smokes you have, so you can come out here and live and see how many
Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. You follow Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints?
Somebody does. More people than the Crucible.
The LDS that you are not in the LDS church, dude.
More people than you have under your ecclesiastic contract. I can guarantee you that. All right.
All you have to do is agree to one proposition. Is it the case that you personally think that if there is no...
It's so funny because Andrew is so intellectually exhausted by Coach Greg Adams' stupidity.
No state contract, you're not in a state contract, your chances of getting divorced are going to decrease. Is that true or false?
If that's true, even if you don't get married, correct. Your chances of getting divorced goes to 0. Oh. And that's the same thing I said. Don't get married, you don't get divorced. The number one cause of divorce is marriage.
Not
Boy, it
marriage,
sounds like
a state
sounds like-
contract.
no, the number one cause of divorce is marriage. Hey, Andrew, let's just say this, man. Listen.
I thought they could divorce you even if you weren't married to him 5 minutes ago.
No, you went through a ceremony. You went through a religious ceremony. So at that point, they can. But if I never went through a ceremony, they can't.
They can sue you for anything by your logic, whether you went through it or not.
Don't move the goalpost. I said you went through a ceremony. I didn't. All right, those are two different things, sir.
Which part of? I don't really. Again, I don't understand. If it's the case that you
He's
say,
scrambling and scraping for shit right now.
if it's the case that you say
He's scrambling and scraping for shit right now.
Married by the state.
We got him scrambling.
Yeah, if you're married by the state.
It makes more sense why Coach Greg is acting like this because this is done live. And so he's definitely like putting on the act for his incel army.
If you're married by the state, your chances of marriage or divorce.
But if you don't
increase.
get married, your chances of divorce is 0.
Yeah, okay, wait a second. I'm sorry.
Your chances of, if you don't get married,
unless you're cohabitating, right?
Divorce is
Unless
0.
you're cohabitating.
Depends on where you live.
Yeah, so then it's not 0.
Not
So you just lied. It's not
in
0.
California.
So then it's not 0.
What about if you don't cohabitate?
Yeah, again. So now you're moving the goalposts.
No, most of the time, if you read my book, then I bet you can't read. Did you write a book? I'm pretty sure you didn't.
No.
I wrote a book.
My wife wrote a book, and I take all her money, though.
Good. Well, that tells me what type of man you are. Holy mackerel. You're pimping your wife out now? What's next? What's next?
You see, that just completely went over Greg's little head. You know? That completely went over his head. You see how he's trying to like insult Andrew and be like, oh, you know, can you even read? Dude, if anybody demonstrated who is intellectually superior this entire time, it was Andrew dwarfing you. And, you know, not that it's an accomplishment, but the fact that his wife, he just said, yeah, my wife read, and I take all the money. He doesn't get it because you know what? Coach Greg has never had a woman head over heels in love with him. He's never had that because when a woman loves you, they will give everything that they have to you just because they love you and they just want to be with you and they trust you to lead them and guide them, including with her own money. That's what Coach Greg completely let blow over his bald head. He just doesn't get it.
How many books that she sold? Now let me get back to this. Hold on for a second. Hold on for a second. My prescription for men is no. Hold on for a second. No.
About to write a book.
Yeah. Well, I guess YouTube's going well if you're living off your wife's books. All right. What's her name so we can give her some shine to sell some books?
Oh, her name is Rachel Wilson, the author of Occult Feminism. I guarantee it sold more copies than yours, sir.
All right. We can look it up. Let's over that now. We can look it up.
Let's look
now.
it up
Watch
right
this.
now.
Watch this. All right. Go ahead.
I want to look it up right now. Now I just want to.
Now at this point, what have you done? You're living off the backs of your wife.
And now you see he's just trying so like I guess this is a black thing, like when they just try to make fun of you and clown you on a podcast. But like, you know, fucking this is just cracks me up when you look at this this whole fucking thing that he's trying to do here, like trying to act like he's superior when dude, you're a fucking trick. You are a trick. You pay for pussy. You are the fucking bottom feeder of the sexual totem pole. And I get it. He's a short little black guy who's old, right? But he wasn't that dude back in the day either. He's carried this manlet energy with him his whole life, you know? And so that being said, he's trying so hard to fucking, you know, like posture and act like he's this superior person. And he's not. He's not. What's the quote? Any man who says to people, I'm the king is no king. That's what this guy is, right? If you have to sit there and talk about, oh, I'm king, I'm the best, I'm number one. Actually, nah, dog. No. You're a fucking clown.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Is this traditional marriage?
Yes, absolutely.
Boy, oh boy, men have fallen. I'm gonna tell you that.
Absolutely.
Men have fallen. It's a disgrace.
Yeah, because of guys like you fucking who are prostitute maxing. Like it's rich to see him try to, because this guy at the end of the day, right? He is not an alpha male. There is nothing alpha about this guy. He is a little manlet. He is a little insecure guy, and he is filled with hatred and he's filled with bitterness. And anybody with good social intelligence can clearly see this. And he's just, you know, he's just gesture maxing for his incel army. That's it. Yeah, and he is chimping out too.
Right, man. You're living off of what? Is this traditional marriage, by the way?
Yes.
Your wife is in a traditional marriage and you're living off her finances? God damn. All right, boy. The crucible is falling apart at this particular point, bursting open at the seams. Gentlemen,
what's your book called?
Free Agent Lifestyle.
You got me, man.
Yeah, I did got you.
I take all. It's true. I take all of her money. It's true.
Well, that's what you said.
I mean, I do.
You said that.
I do.
I mean, I'm not saying something you
all of it. And spend on guns.
Every traditional marriage sounds great, guys. Traditional marriage sounds.
Yeah, maybe we should go and fuck a bunch of prostitutes in the third world like you there, buddy. What's that? Like prostitute maxing?
Sound bad? Who would be upset by that? I take all of my wife's money and spend it on guns. He says traditional marriage sounds great.
That's traditional marriage. That falls under traditional marriage.
Sure.
Oh boy.
What's untraditional about it?
That's a great traditional marriage.
It sounds like great traditional marriage to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can't find the numbers, honestly.
Oh, well, that's too bad.
This all happens. Shit happens. But, you know, it's a bestseller, trust me. You should read it.
So it's hers. It's just sold.
But what have you done?
Well,
what have you done?
I take her money.
Zero. Exactly. Boy, I mean, you hear this?
Yeah.
This is the traditional patriarchy masculinity here, in live and in living color. But you can follow him. You can follow me.
I mean, your book is ranked higher on the charts and it has more ratings. Can't find the sales numbers on either.
The sales numbers are what matters.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Let's see the numbers.
Oh.
Numbers.
Uh-oh.
Numbers.
Uh-oh.
Numbers.
Oops.
Numbers.
I'm higher ranked. More people have.
Let's see the numbers.
Come on, man. I don't know. I don't keep the data. I don't know what happened.
I don't know how many books you've sold.
Millions.
So millions of books. Give me a fucking break with this shit.
How many books you?
He has not sold millions. Dude, the fact that he's sitting there, like, again, it just shows you how insecure this guy is. The fact that he has to sit there and be like, how much books has your wife made? How much books has this, that, all this stuff, bro? He is just a fucking very insecure guy. It is so funny to just see how he is pretending to be a dominant man and like a force of that people should, like, you know, be recognizing. And the reality is he's just a very insecure little manlet. That's it.
So zero. You sold zero goddamn books.
Crying and coping.
You listen. I'm higher ranked. Yeah,
you sold millions of books.
Hey, look at the numbers. The numbers don't lie, Mr. Numbers Guy. I got
where's the numbers?
Higher ranked. More people.
I want to know how many you've sold.
More people have rated the book.
Yeah, and
Free Agent Lifestyle for life.
And guess what? You can definitely brigade your own Amazon shit.
You challenge me.
Show me the numbers.
Challenge me,
Where's
sir.
the numbers?
You sold zero goddamn
numbers
books.
are.
Man, what? You saw the numbers?
No, I didn't.
The numbers.
I asked you for the sales numbers. How many of you sold?
Numbers. Free Agent Lifestyle for life. Hey, everybody go out by the Free Agent Lifestyle.
Yeah, the Free Agent never doesn't know how many you sold.
I'm higher ranked, man.
So
you
what?
I got more people. Look,
that doesn't mean shit.
Shawn Michaels. Hey, you see that? I'm higher ranked.
I imagine with the ranking algorithm, sales does play a factor.
Come on, man. We already know that. Yeah. It is what it is.
What are the numbers?
I don't know my numbers. My probably better than hers, but I know it's better than yours.
That's true. I've never written a book. I just take the. I just take the authors.
You come up with obvious solutions to scenarios that
anybody
can come up with. I don't have a solution. Free Agent Lifestyle solution.
That's not a solution to anything. It's just a generous
solution that you don't like.
It's just go fuck chicks.
No, that's what you think. All right, it's a solution that you didn't.
How's it going to help? How's it going to help with abortion? How's it going to help with anything?
Well, that's what de-evolution is for. De-evolution. Go ahead and pull that up. All right.
How does de-evolution help?
Go ahead and look. How about you read the book and then come back?
Just
you didn't do your research.
How does de-evolution help?
I figured you were a better debater than this.
Can you answer the question?
No, be more prepared next time because I don't have time.
You can't answer any questions.
But I'm going to sell some books. Just no Free Agent Lifestyle and de-evolution. The link is in the description box below. All right. I did my work. I don't have to explain it. I wrote a book. Your job is to do the work. All right. And that's what we teach men to do. It's not about degeneracy. We teach men to do the work and not come up with pie in the sky fantasies that don't work. All right. The captain obvious.
How do you know it doesn't work?
Your solutions are very obvious. Control propaganda. All right. Jesus Christ, man. Look, anybody can.
Here's your solution. Do whatever you want.
Fuck the Free Agent Lifestyle. Yeah.
Fuck whoever. Just fuck whoever. It's fine. We're not feminists, though, guys, even though we have all feminist propositions.
I bet you your wife's body count's higher than yours.
Yeah, I bet your wife's body count was higher than yours, too.
No, I'm not married. I'm not married. And your wife, you living off of her.
Oh, Andrew got him there. Your wife's body count higher than yours. Oh, man. You know, this is just funny how fucking Coach is just, he thinks he's winning, but he's just looking like a fucking dumb nig.
I bet you her body count higher than yours.
You think so?
I know so.
Oh, okay.
I know
just like you know your
she's
numbers.
A traditional conservative.
Like you know your numbers.
I know she got ran through more times in the Holland Tunnel.
So that's it. It's just now add
now we just my wife. Is that what we want to do?
That's where you went.
No, you
did. I say a word about
your wife?
Did I say a word about your wife?
I don't got one.
Yeah, if you did, do you think I would have?
You brought her up.
I brought my. Did I attack her?
I didn't attack her.
You just said she had a high body count. You lying sack of shit. Show me the proof.
I don't have any proof.
Yeah, you're just making shit up.
Traditional conservative.
You lost the debate, so you went.
I didn't lose the debate. You've been losing the debate for a long time.
Your wife has a high body count.
I bet you she does. That's the number.
What's the proof?
Traditional conservative women have higher body count than men.
She's not a bad con, dude. You don't even know what you're talking about.
She's not a track con and you married.
I'm not a track con. You didn't do your homework.
What are you?
I'm a Christian ethicist.
A Christian ethicist.
Yes.
All right. Very good. All right. And
very
you still don't know the numbers. How many people follow you?
Follow what?
Follow your prescription, your master solution. No numbers.
I literally have
but you're asking me
number after number after number of the fact that the traditional church's divorces are lower.
We got that, but how many men follow you?
We don't know the polling data. No. We don't need to. We know that even if they're with the state, it's still lower.
Coach gang, one in the chat. All right, Coach Dane, one in the chat. You bought the free agent lifestyle, and it helped you. Put one in the chat.
All right, been 2 hours. You guys want to call it?
Yep.
All right, guys, check them out. That was a fun debate. We'll let ChatGPT decide who won this thing. We'll throw in the transcript in there. Link it in the video. See you guys next time.
Oh my God, that was an abortion. Let's go to the comment section real quick. But Coach Greg Adams is just such an insecure little manlet. That just cracks me up. Yeah, this guy is incredibly self-centered. How could someone talk so much and say so little? Exactly. God, I'm so glad that fucking other people see what I see, you know, because it's just crazy just to see how insane this are. MLD, your achievements are a lot richer than his, and you don't boast like this. Yeah, bro. Like, bro, I've lost more money than Coach Greg Adams has ever made. Okay. But I mean, that's what these guys do. Like, you know, he's like, you know, he's flexing his fucking little Porsche and stuff. That's what poor people do. Poor people flex their cars. Poor people flex. Okay, that's what they do, right? But yeah, you know, it's just so funny to watch that. Somebody says, "Do you think renouncing U.S. citizenship for taxes worth it if you have a EU citizenship and you don't want to live in the U.S.?" I would need more details on that. Yeah, free agents. Yeah, exactly. Free agents of fucking prostitution, right? I'm black and the bald guy had me screaming through my phone, just shut the fuck up. That's this guy right here. Coach is what happens when high entitlement meets low intelligence. Just, yeah, he's not an intelligent guy at all. You know, his Instagram cracks me up too, because he's like he's posting himself with all these fat bottom feeder fucking prostitutes from other countries, and he's like flexing like that's amazing. Man, like I don't post the girls that I'm banging. You know, I don't even I banged Miss Best Body Japan 2023. And I didn't have the need to post her or show her. You know, I have forgotten more women than I can actually remember how many chicks that I've fucking hooked up with. But it's not an accomplishment. But again, for him, you know, it's like broke people when they get one expensive piece of clothing, they wear it all the time. They show it off all the time. That's exactly what we have here. But I get it. You know, he was a nerd his whole life. And, you know, he was nerd, middle class, and then he finally made it, you know, later in life. And now he's trying to making up for lost time, you know. But still, he will never be the alpha that he wants to be because he's out here paying for pussy full time, you know, which is, like I said, hilarious to even see it. But, I mean, hey, you know what? To each his own. Let the guy, you'll see who's who, right? But it's very, very detrimental that guys here are listening to him. He's putting out so much shit, too. He's saying age is just a number. Bro, the only attraction you're getting from women is the shit you have to pay for, right? So all of that stuff. Anyways, let me go read some more of this. My God, Coach can't understand logical arguments and reason. Holy fuck, this is painful. Just seems full of hedge. See, normal people see it too. I'm so glad. I didn't even read these comments before. I think he's masking his embarrassment and hiding while also thinking he's embarrassing Andrew. This is giving me hope for society. Is this Coach a satire figure? No way he's this oblivious. Literally 0 IQ. I'm so glad that freaking, you know, other people see this shit. Coach presents a problem. Andrew produces a solution. Coach says it's not even possible, even though it literally exists. Coach gets upset and never lets Andrew speak and insults him. Yeah, that's the entire debate. You're welcome. Yeah, people told me to do a breakdown on this debate. But hey, you know, it is what it is. So, hey, listen, if I was a 50-something-year-old black 5'4" manlet that was insecure, I guess I would tell people to prostitute Max as well. But that being said, man, I gotta say it's funny to really just see all this shit unlock and unwind in real time. Anyways, I'll be back tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for free consultation Friday. We can call in to this number right here. Boom, up there. And you'll be able to call in that phone number and give me a call. I'll be answering all of your questions and so much more. So come on down to the Modern Life Dating Show. Thanks, you guys.